Welcome back to the 2024 World Series of Poker Main Event. It is time for Day 1C, the third of 4 starting days in the greatest spectacle in all of poker. 10K is the buy-in, more than 10 million, most likely the first prize. Let's find out who is going to bag big here on the third starting flight. Lots of superstars in the mix. We have Jeff Platt on the floor to give us some sideline reporting and find out who the superstars are. My name is Remko Rinkema. For this occasion, Kane joining me because Donnie Peters is playing. What is this? Is that the Phil Hellmuth music I'm hearing? Oh boy. Well, it feels like we're in Hollywood. The paparazzi is out in full force. Kane, Phil Hellmuth dancing must be one of your favorite things to witness here, isn't it?
Oh, you know what? It's a very interesting thing when he comes in on the day you're trying to play. It's a kind of a little bit of a distraction from the whole thing. Wait, what's he dressed up as this year? Every year he dresses up as something. Is he just himself this year? What's going on?
I mean, the Kung Fu fighting, he's wearing like a little bit of a, what is it, a Karate Kid type outfit. I feel like that's the vibe we're going for. I saw Shannon Elizabeth in the background. I wonder how much he paid her to make a fool out of herself here. I love it.
What do you think about those dancing skills? How would you rate his dancing ability on a scale from 1 to 10?
I feel like they're right on par with his roast beef sandwich eating skills. Seeing Dan Jungleman Cates not chained up this year, which is a big change. Phil Hellmuth making his way to the main feature table. Oh man, never a dull moment with this man. Cates on stage as well.
Switch sides?
We're in the dojo.
Okay.
Ready for some Kung Fu fighting.
You guys bow to each other.
Oh boy. Are we getting the real showdown here?
Yeah, what's going on?
Oh my God.
Wow.
Jungleman leveled.
You're a badass, Shannon Elizabeth. You're a badass.
TKO.
Wow. Jungleman knocked out from the tournament here before a hand is dealt. Joe Stapleton, oh, are they cuddling?
And now they're spooning.
Oh, wow. This is not awkward at all, ladies and gentlemen. Phil Hellmuth back in the mix, main event.
All right, Jungle, let's do a bow to everybody back there. Okay, sure.
Welcome.
No words.
You think Jungle and Shannon Elizabeth did a little stage combat for that? A little rehearsal?
For sure, for sure. Joe Stapleton in the background is a comedian, but nothing will ever be funnier than this, I'm sure. Is that Scotty?
I think Stapes has a show tonight.
Scotty, baby.
There's Scotty
How are
Wynn.
you?
Good. Wow.
The Prince of Poker.
All right.
I'll fold.
We better get a replay of
I see you.
Hellmuth and Jungleman
Scotty
spooning
went
on
in
the
the
floor.
Jungle.
I'm so excited to figure that out.
Good job, Jungle. That was a great
Do some like kung fu.
Let's see you do a move, Jungle. I'm ready. Go.
See what I got.
Jungle has a move for you guys.
Here
Scotty,
we go.
let's see.
Can't wait for this.
He's been studying.
Oh, this guy is totally ready to perform.
One more, Jungle. What do you got?
1100.
Show us.
I kind of want Phil to do these moves.
There it is.
Karate Kid
about a
spirit
kick?
here. How about a kick? This guy might hurt himself.
What do you think? You intimidated by Jungle here?
Oh, incredibly intimidated. Yeah, I would definitely just give him a walk in the big blind right now.
Who are you taking in a ring match? Jungle Man or Olivier Bousquet?
Oh my God. Well, right now with these moves, it feels like Jungleman has
Scotty,
been
now
practicing
we bow to each other.
for a long
Ready?
time.
We look you in the eyes, I think, right? Scotty?
Ladies and gentlemen, the main event is now officially underway since Phil Hellmuth has arrived. Once more, Kane Callis with me in the booth for some expert analysis on Kung Fu moves, but maybe also some deep stacked tournament poker strategy.
Yeah, Scotty Wynn definitely does look like he could like throw fire from his hands, you know, like a character in a video game.
Oh, Mortal Kombat all day. All right. All right, chat, let's settle down. Settle down, everyone. It's the main event. Let's have some fun with
Fun
this.
entrance.
Yeah, that's pretty cool.
Also, it looks like way more comfortable clothes to play in this year.
I saw you in the. I almost invited you.
You should have.
Would you have come?
I think so,
That would
yeah.
have been really weird. We ended up at the same table.
It would have been really weird.
Hellmuth talking to Arthur Morris.
Good to see you.
Sitting across from him at the feature table.
I saw Jungle yesterday, actually, at Dan's fourth party or whatever, and he was like, "Yeah, I gotta get ready for this stuff. I gotta play tomorrow." I was like, "Oh."
If you're with us in the chat on YouTube, please smash the like button for how incredibly awkward an entrance was. Got to give credit to Hellmuth there for not caring at all about what
Hot
people
over
think.
here.
Yeah.
Tried to tell you guys you're going to ditch the hoodie before too long.
Under the light.
By the way, big shout out to Arthur Morris, rocking the PGT shirt, rocking the new PokerGo podcast hat. Hit up Tim Duckworth or Donnie Peters on Twitter if you want one of those hats.
Socrat sponsored it? Or what was that?
Karate Combat.
Oh, Karate Combat, okay.
It's a league, it's a token.
Oh, okay.
Everything is a token
this
these days.
token the players unanimously support me being involved with.
Oh, there you
Karate
go.
Combat.
What much better situation then.
Cool. Last time I had a few people against me.
Doug, right? It was Doug the champion. Now it's much better.
All right, so the dust is settling on Hellmuth's entrance. To let you guys all
Arden
know who are
played
tuned
today
in
too,
right
could've
now
got her involved.
on PokerGo, Twitch, and
that
YouTube.
would've
We're
been
doing
good. I didn't
the
think
first level
Yeah, she's,
here
like, in this
on
room.
the
She's right over there,
stream.
too.
Then players will go on a dinner break, and then we'll return for
Yeah,
the night
she's
shift, which will be
Is Shannon playing
really
today?
fun. We have Espen Jorstad, former
No,
main
she's
event
not.
champion, joining us,
Oh, okay.
providing some analysis on how you actually win this beast of a tournament. Kane, as far as your experience in the main events, summarize the last decade for me.
Yeah, well, what I can
This is
tell
hard
you
enough
is
to win.
Espen can tell you how to win this thing. I cannot. My
I can
deepest
win
run
any
in the main
hold'em
event
in
was
10
115th, but I have
It's a hard
cashed the
one to
thing
win,
4
bro.
times.
Harder now than when you won it.
So
Yeah, it was 4 days.
I feel
we
like
played
on
against
day
the best players
one,
in the world
you know,
only, but
you want to
4
kind of
days
size
is
up
like
your
doable,
table.
especially
In this
those
event,
24.
more than any other event at the World Series of Poker,
Well, you picked the
players
perfect
have a
day 'cause
different
you go play
mentality.
day
They're going
off,
to be
play
playing
day off.
differently
Right.
coming
There's
into
no
the
excuse for me
event.
not to make day 4.
And some people are just going to play way
Well,
too
I mean,
tight. They're going to
very
make some
Unless there's some sort of-
insane
yeah.
folds, and other people are just here to gamble.
pretty good at
Some
this.
people might not even really know the rules of the game too well. So
Best results,
in
that's
the
for sure.
beginning, when I first sit down at a table, I'm trying to size everybody up and figure that out. Remko, I think our job's going to be easy here today because Hellmuth is a talker, but Arthur Morris is really a talker. I mean, between the two of these guys, we're going to have a lot of table chat, a lot of banter going on. And Hellmuth is hilarious. You know, people ask me, oh, you know, you've played with Phil. Is he the same off the felt as he is on the felt? And before I ever met Phil, I wasn't sure he was going to be, but he is the exact
plays poker
same.
though, right?
I mean, he thinks
he
he's the
plays the
best
main
in the
event.
world. And if anything doesn't go his way, he's up. You know, he is the poker brat. That's who he is. And
That's
I
a
think
long
in
time
part
since I've seen her
that's
in
why
poker,
he's
but
had so much success because he
Come to a bunch
expects
of
to.
charity events that I've hosted.
She used to be on TV a lot. Back
She was in American Pie. She's in a bunch of movies.
Yeah, oh yeah, that.
I actually saw
Poker, yeah.
American Pie yesterday. I was watching it, and my friend texted me, "Hey, Shannon's going to stop by and say hello before your entrance," and I'm like, "Let's have her come."
Yeah.
And when she did that, did you see her kick?
Yeah, it's a pretty good cake.
I said, "Hey, Shannon, why don't you knock Jungle Man out?" And she did this kick, and I'm like, "Oh my God, she's
Knocked him right out.
Best case scenario for us as far as the Hellmuth sort of
But it's a real
entertainment
kick.
meter is him either winning a lot right away or losing a lot right away, because that
Gonna
could make
put her in
this
some martial arts movie
dynamic
now.
even more exciting.
I mean, you have to root for him to lose a lot, right? I mean, come on.
Yeah, I feel like a quick early
The
loss
concept was,
followed
you know that
by
song,
a little build-up.
It builds up da-da-da-da-da-da-da for 21 seconds. And then there's supposed to be a door. And then it goes into everybody was kung fu, and we're supposed to just bash the door open and jump out, you know.
500. Great. I bet 500.
We couldn't find a good door to stop at.
Well, yeah, that's hard because the back at this actual entrance to this area is like very far from the actual tables.
Nice little turn card for Gupta there.
I almost forgot we're watching a poker tournament.
Yeah.
I like this entrance better than
Apparently,
last
the main event is going on, Remko. Did you hear about that?
Yeah. better.
I know.
It's the first time I haven't had 17 models.
4,000.
Oh, wow. Interesting sizing from Gupta. He went with a 5th pot on the flop to an overbet on the turn.
Or
And these are the
15,
kind of
depending
things
how
that
many
I'm
races
trying to
I
pay
had, they
attention
always
to if
require
I'm
that
at the
many
table.
models.
Like if I
Yeah.
have a friend who's tuning into
The
our
fighting thing
broadcast,
must
who's seeing these hands,
I
who
thought you
might,
were,
you know, on break want to
I
tell me
actually
what's
thought
going
for a
on.
while in the Super Turbo Bounty that you
That's
were going
definitely
back to
something that's notable.
You got up to like 1,000,001. I got to your table and everyone had all the chips. Like God, whoever comes off this table might win. I guess Rocco came off it and got 4th, but like, or 3rd maybe. But
I had a real shot.
yeah, I never had chips.
There was a guy who was playing super fast, and that usually works out for me.
Yeah, that was
I think he moved in with a dry flush draw.
was that Konakov? Alexei Konakov, the guy in the threes.
No, I don't care. No need to mention names. But anyway, he busted me. He moved into a dry side pot with and I snapped him with second pair, like from a million.
Oh my God, that's a huge pot. Everyone on the table had
Yeah,
like
I'm
triple
gonna-
average.
I'm going to make.
900.
I'm going to make that.
Raise,
I'm going to make it.
900.
Finish 15th. I'm going to make the final line. If that
Yeah.
hand holds up.
Call.
Hellmuth, of course, will take the next hour to recap all his bad beats from the
Raise,
summer.
5,000.
Have you had any Hellmuth blow-ups in your face playing hands against him?
You know what? Just a couple days ago in the big bet mix, we weren't at the same table. We were at different tables, but Alex Foxen got him in a hand. I believe it was in pot limit triple draw, which plays very, very big in that tournament. And they got it all in. Hellmuth was an equity favorite, ended up busting in, I believe, 17th place or so, maybe 19th place, and there may or may not have been a little profanity as Phil Hellmuth was going to that line to get his payout.
You're coming off a really deep run in that event yourself as well. When I followed you and I saw you at that final table, I thought, oh, he's got this. You seem so relaxed. You seem so locked in. Ultimately, wasn't meant to be, I guess.
Oh yeah.
Well,
yeah,
I was
yeah,
relaxed. I was locked in,
was
but
short.
you know, poker is in the
I
short
liked him.
run.
Seemed
It's
like a good
mostly
guy.
luck, and we had a couple
Was it?
spots where we got it in
Oh,
Big
Robbie.
O with
said
75 to
really good
80%
summer.
equity in 2 hands and chopped both.
Yeah, we went broke
And
on the
then
same
we got
hand.
it
He had
in
a blind and a
pot
half
limit
left.
triple draw with about 60% all in pre-flop and couldn't hold up there and lost that one to Wing Lei, who went on to win the tournament.
As far as your summer as a whole, you've made some runs.
Made a couple. There, I got 4th in that. I got 9th in the Stud High Championship. But in terms of, you know, how much money you make or lose on the series, it's all going to come down to the high rollers, right? So, you know, I didn't cash in the PPC, and then I fired a couple of bullets in the 25K PLO. No luck there. So, you know, down in money, but we still got the main event and a couple other big ones coming up, so we can turn that around.
Yeah, absolutely. Kane playing the main event tomorrow, just like thousands of others. The biggest starting day is always day 1D. Happy to have you all join us for day 1C here.
Okay.
Long grind, the main
Cut
event
to the
final
limper.
table taking place on July 16 and 17. To put in perspective that you cannot win it today, Jared Blesnick said that the most embarrassing thing you can do to yourself is bust out on day 1 on the feature table. And he almost accomplished that himself with a bad run towards the end of the night last night. If you want to watch highlights from the main event, every morning we publish those on our YouTube channel as Hellmuth. Let's go with Queen 10 here, keeping things casual for now. Pots are staying small.
Well, yeah, Hellmuth just came in with a limp in the cutoff with the Queen 10 offsuit here, and it's part of what allowed his 2 opponents here with the 6 deuce and the 5-3 to enter the pot.
Nice to have a lot more space, huh? These tables are massive.
Check.
My wife hates the press.
Really?
Wheel for Gupta here. He's going to take it down. Excuse me, 7 high straight even.
And a deuce.
Gupta on the
Both
receiving
straights.
end of some
Both
good cards
straights,
here. Well, started out.
5-3 clubs.
Is she here?
Oh, not a nice end then.
I don't want to say.
Shit.
Yeah, it's the first time she's made it to the. We have a deal. If I make a final table, she has to show up.
All right, so a couple people I expected to see on the Phil Hellmuth entourage. Jeff Gross, sure. Mike Mattisell, yeah. Joe Stapleton. Stapes, how'd you end up as a part of that crew?
Like most of the jobs I've gotten in poker, I was available.
You were available. I saw a lot of people come in kicking, chopping. Not you, though.
Yeah, I don't know. I just, I've gone this far without getting canceled. I wanted to be for a joke I made and not for culturally appropriating during like a weird karate kung fu mashup, which, by the way, is 2 totally different things.
Got a bunch of cameras around here, not just the one that we're looking at. Describe to us the special that you are shooting right now.
We've got our finale tonight
Okay, great.
at the Space, but basically it's a comedy special born of a 3-week road trip where I decided I was going to write a 30-minute special on the road trip. And there's a twist. The guy we hired to document all this, our documentarian, halfway through the trip decided he was done doing that and he was going to become a stand-up comic. Great. So he's also doing a special tonight at the Space.
So we'll see you guys tonight at the Space, 8:30. Just follow Stapes on social for all the other details. Guys.
It's been my summer.
Wow, Jeff.
13 cashes, but like if
The
you don't
jokes
win
are on
it,
the
who cares?
sideline.
You
No
know what I mean?
karate
Like,
moves
get
from
deep
Stapleton,
or
but
final,
perhaps
it doesn't
if you are in town,
least final
the
table.
Space
Yeah.
tonight,
No jewelry.
definitely
No, never had
a place to
jewelry
go
piece.
visit.
Couple seconds.
Fun
couple
comedy spot.
fourths. finals, never won.
All right, action here between
He plays
Palmer
good,
and
especially the stud games.
Wadadwan.
I can't wait till Tim hears this. Tim loves to troll me on my stud games. Oh, that's the perfect
Anything but
comment.
PLO.
Huh?
Anything but PLO.
You know, fuck it, I'll plug it. You guys should go listen to Tim's podcast from PokerGo and see what Tim has to say about my stud. 4-4, right?
Yeah, normally when I have a costume on, I wear it for the first like 10 hands.
And you gotta change, but this looks comfortable.
It's very comfortable.
Feel comfortable, you know?
Dan's gotten crazy fit, man. He's like, I don't know, he's just taking his chapter of working out and fitness all pretty seriously. Wasn't he just in the Himalayas?
Remko, I'd like to make a bet. I'm not sure if
said
our
he's been
team can
practicing
track
this.
this, but I have Arthur Morris to speak more words at
I
this
saw
feature
a while
table
back
than
he
all
put
the
on
other
Twitter
players
he wanted to
combined.
like
I like your
have
side.
an exhibition bout
like your
with
side a
somebody
lot.
in poker. I think we're
He
gonna
is a
shoot teller for a
talkative
bit, but
guy.
then
I'll
didn't
tell you what,
actually do
though,
it, and
one of the
now I
nicest
don't know.
guys in poker.
They could
Oh,
have
yeah,
one in karate
absolutely.
combat.
Yeah, there you go.
More of a
You got a
PLO player
fire
than Hold'em, I guess.
festival guy.
We've seen him at the studio a lot playing those big buy-in events.
Not
This year he's been
somebody
playing
else.
some mix too. He's been getting in the mixed streets.
Cervantes raising it up with King Queen off on the button here. Action on Morris in the big blind. Already up 10K from the starting stack. It's funny how most of these stacks are still pretty close to start, with the exception of Mangini in the 1 seat up to 140 here in the early goings. By the way, good news for the Donnie Peters fans, who was in the booth with me the last couple of days. He is playing today, and he already doubled up aces versus kings. Morris defended from the big blind. 5 deuce 7 rolls off, catches a pair of 5s here. Cervantes is going to continue with the lone king of spades here. Feels like the best way to get Morris quiet is to get him in some hands.
Yeah, that's true. Just deal him a little second pair here.
Comes along, making the call.
Check.
How much pressure would Morris need to cave and let go of this 5 here, Kane?
Well, you know what? A big bet on the turn is going to put a lot of pressure on him. It would be tough to continue because you do have on this board quite a few of hands that have a pair plus a straight draw that you might choose to continue with instead of the ace-5. But his opponent does check back.
Feels like
River is a jack. So now Cervantes knows he could probably only win with a bluff, but he does just check it back. And again, Remko, these are the kind of hands I want to pay attention to. Now that I've seen Cervantes play his hand like that, where he elected to c-bet flop, but then bluff neither the turn nor the river, when he does put an action on the turn of rivers, I'm going to be able to
Really?
actually fold more hands than I
Well, I
would
think she
normally.
stopped. She was like, well, how many? She was 1 level away from.
So she's like brown.
Then she continued to do Wing Chun and all these disciplines for years.
What was the black belt almost in? Like Kung Fu or karate? My son's 5.5. My wife wants Jack to take like some kind of defense class. I think I'm gonna
Our sons took karate.
Yeah, I'm not sure which.
swinging out to our secondary table for the first time tonight. Our second table, headlined by the one, the only 10-time bracelet winner, Johnny Chan. Known, of course, as Johnny Chan the Master.
Also known as the Great Wall of China, his other nickname. What? You got any more Johnny Chan nicknames?
Yes, they used to call him on the broadcast when he won the main event, the Oriental Express.
Uh-huh.
He always would carry his big orange to the table as well. By the way, we have Nick Maimoni at the table here and Christopher Brandt as well. 2 very accomplished professional players as we pick up the action here.
Yeah, Maimoni, an extremely strong player, probably one of the best, I'd say, top 100 players in this field. I would take in the main. Very, very, very strong limit hold'em player.
Ding came in with the raise to 1K. Kimber called, and Taylor here tosses into 3-bet to 5K. A little confused here on the action. Oh, and I see that Kimber with 9s just made the call. 9's out of position here. Kane going to the flop, calling a 3-bet, putting yourself in a position to perhaps have some tough ones to make on later streets.
Yeah, I do like the call though. Nines is a strong hand, but it is tough to navigate, especially on a board like this. You know, it's a good board for your hand. You're still ahead of all the ace king, ace queen, king queen, Broadway suited type hands. And as Taylor puts out the continuation bet, his hand's shaking a little bit. Before I see that happen with my opponent, though, you can't really tell if that's weak or strong. In this case, it is strong.
Turn brings the deuce of diamonds. Both players still with an overpair. No diamonds for either player, though.
A lot of times you see people in Taylor's spot pot control this turn here. I actually think I would prefer, yeah, he does pot control. I think I would prefer a bet with the queens no diamond because of this. If the river card comes off the 10 of diamonds, first of all, you're getting no value. Secondly, you could have allowed your opponent to catch up with a flush. A type of hand that I might choose to check back the turn with more often would be like aces with no diamond because it's less vulnerable. You could still value bet all rivers, whereas if an ace or king rolled off, when you have the pocket queens, now you can no longer value bet the river. So I would have wanted to get 2 streets of value there as Taylor. He wouldn't have in this instance. Maybe, I don't know. It depends on how big he bet with his opponents having nines without the 9 of diamonds, but he still does take down the pot.
Good little early win here with pocket queens. Let's have a look at our GTO Wizard chip count on day 1C here. This is our secondary table. Johnny Chan below the starting stack on 47,000, and it looks like the Brits are taking over. Maybe it's coming home this year, who knows? William Jarman, our biggest stack with 87,000. Not much has moved at this table. Of course, Chan back-to-back main event champion in 87 and 88. The guy he beat heads up in 88, Eric Seidel, played on the feature table last night. And today we have the pleasure of watching Johnny Chan.
Raise 1,000.
And Kimber, fresh off of pocket nines, upgrades himself 2 aces.
Day 1 of the main event, you sit down, you look at that hand, Remko. How are you feeling right now?
Nervous.
A little bit nervous.
Nervous,
huh?
very nervous.
Well, let's see if we could see that in Kimber's face. We do have a call from Wolf with the ace-5 suited, as well as a call from Brand with pocket ace.
Patrick Leonard said, don't be nervous about busting the main because everyone eventually will, with the exception of one player. As
Speaking about busting the main, I wonder if Kimber is going to be in rough waters here.
wow, we have full house for Brand. Kimber with the overpair and Brand flopping trips.
And yeah, Wolf with the trips, Brant with a full house. Wow, so look at this. We have a C-bet from Kimber, who's very happy to get a call, and we have 2 slow plays. We have a slow play from trip 5s and a slow play from a full house. This is quite a hand.
9,000 in the middle as we go to the turn.
Going to be a diamond? Oh, it's the deuce of diamonds, so now the nut flush draw also for Kimber. You couldn't have drawn up a more interesting board. Kimber still thinks that his hand is very good, obviously. I mean, both of his opponents just called on the flop.
Kimber continues for 3,500 now. The question is, action on Wolf, who has trips, comes with the call now. Brand, this is where you get value, right?
I mean, I'd be looking to check raise his hand here on the turn. I'd be thinking that maybe one of my opponents has a flush. If they don't, maybe one of them has like, maybe Kimber could have ace-king with the ace of diamonds type of hand, a hand he's not really going to want to relinquish here on the turn. So I'd be looking to raise it up here for a smaller type size, maybe 40% pot or so.
And here it comes, 13,000 from Brand. Action back on Kimber. Now, of course, maybe slight concerns about the diamonds, but you have the ace of diamonds, so continuing, of course, is at the top of your mind.
Yeah, I would not be folding here. To me, this is just, you know, a pretty mindless call. Your hand is very strong. And it looked like Wolf kind of raised his hand like kind of in exasperation. It's a tougher spot for Wolf than it is for Kimber with the action that's preceded him. Tripp's still a very strong hand, and he has to think that he has full house outs.
Absolutely. He also closes the action here.
Wolf potentially contemplating a fold. I mean, if he folded, it would be a brilliant fold. He does make the call.
All right, so we have three-way action going to the river, 48K in the middle. Reminder here, everyone started with 60K. This is day one. This is already a massive pot. River is the 7 of clubs. The flush does not come in for the aces. Brand gets the check mark with his full house. What sort of sizing are we looking at right now to get paid off? Because Brand is facing 2 opponents here.
Yeah, I mean, if you're in Brand's spot here, I'm thinking somewhere around half pot, maybe a little bit more than that. I'm basically thinking, what size would an overpair with a diamond or a flush pay off?
22,000 announced.
A little bit less than half. This might just go call, Remko.
Wow.
But once Kimber called, wow,
Whoa.
Kimber makes the fold.
Quick fold with the aces from Kimber, and
Wow.
Wolf lets it go as well. Well done, gentlemen. Let's tap the table here.
Two
This is
fantastic folds, yeah.
very impressive.
And Brandt, after getting all that action on the turn, I mean, I had to imagine he was going to get some value on the river going for less than half pot, but an immediate fold from both of his opponents, which is interesting in Wolf's shoes as the player with ace-5, because if you're going to call the turn, and then it seemed like he didn't even think about it on the river. I guess he was just calling the turn to try to boat up or to hope that it goes check on the river. And he had already made up his mind he was going to fold to any bet on the river, but nonetheless a good fold.
Well, let us know in the chat if you would have gotten away from your aces there. Be honest with yourself, because, I mean, that is not an easy fold to make.
I mean, obviously you only beat a bluff at that point with the aces, and one of the arguments for folding the aces is one of the best hands for your opponent to bluff with would actually be the ace of diamonds, which you have. So I do think that the aces fold was pretty good. I think the ace-5 fold was a harder fold to make.
Nick Mamoni, one of the top pros in the field today, raising it up to 1K. Finds ace-king. Bickley is going to make the call here with queen 10 of diamonds. We're going to see heads-up action on the flop. King 3-3. Nice flop for ace-king. No headaches just yet.
700.
Mamoni continues for 700. Bickley lets it go.
Kids are sleeping, but my wife probably will be having this first going
If you're just tuning in, we have Phil Hellmuth on the main feature table. You're not missing a thing. We're keeping our eye on any hands he might play. Johnny Chan headlining our secondary table.
He gets in 2 hours. I'm gonna pick him up. You know where Sortino is? This is free, right?
I'll tell you, it would be my first.
Yeah, that would be.
To give you an idea of some other big names in the field today, Chris Brewer is in the mix along with Justin Bonomo, Adrian Mateos, Luke Greenwood from arguably the most successful Canadian poker family. Speaking of poker families, Rob Mizraki also in the mix, along with 03 champ Chris Moneymaker.
Raise 11.
We'll get Jeff Plata on the case to hopefully get a quote from some of those players later on tonight. Wolf raising it up here with ace-queen. Kane, one of the things in the main event that is especially true for this specific tournament is you can lose a few big hands in a row, still be at 100 bigs, but you have to mentally tell yourself, this might look like very little, but it is still a lot.
True, and in general in tournament poker, one of the biggest mistakes I see players make is trying to get back to where their chip stack used to be, right? And that's just not the right way to think about poker. You are where you are, and every single hand is independent of the hands that happened before. Now, of course, you're supposed to be learning and gaining information about your opponent. So if you're a talented poker player, the advantage you have is that as the day goes on, as the tournament progresses, you now have reads on your opponents that you didn't have before. But whether you have fewer chips than you started with or more chips than you started with, Your stack is what it is. You should know exactly how many big blinds you have and what you're going to do with that hand in that situation. And it shouldn't matter what happened the hand before or 2 hands before, whether or not that affected your chip stack in a positive or negative way.
Case ace here on the flop. Ace 5, ace queen, ace jack, all in the mix here. Wolf betting 1,600, trying to get some of that money back from the previous hands. Both Taylor and Jarman make the call. Thad Wolf from Omaha, Nebraska. 6 cashes at the World Series of Poker. His best was 194th place in the 2015 main event, so he knows what it takes to get in the money in this one.
That was the year I ran the deepest in this tournament too, 115. Busted to Dan Smith.
Oh. Dan Smith, who later busted to Jord Van Hoof, who ultimately ended up finishing second.
The cleaner.
The cleaner, indeed.
Absolutely.
Wolf continuing here with a bet of 2,500. Can we go for 3 streets of value here unless the board develops in a very negative way?
You know what, it is tough to go for 3 streets of value here because you try to think of the hands that you're going to get paid by on the river. Obviously, ace jack is one of them, and potentially ace 9, ace 8, ace 7, but a lot of those hands may not want to call the river. They might find a fold. So we actually saw ace jack just fold the turn.
Wow.
So a call pre-flop and then a call on the flop and a fold on the turn, facing a very, very small bet. I mean, you know, in practice, that was a fantastic fold. And we see ace 5 continue to make the call. And I do think that Wolf, as the out-of-position player, if the board doesn't change here, can go for a little bit of value, especially on that deuce. I would like to see Wolf go for a small size here again.
William Jarman here checking on the river, representing his Wolverhampton Wolves.
Well, it does go check, check, and Wolf will take it down.
Oh yeah, way good, way good.
Jarman, despite losing this hand, already up early.
Well, I mean, he's smiling to himself because he was able to get away from his ace-jack on the turn. A very disciplined fold facing a small bet size. But, Remko, that's part of the problem with just flatting ace-jack pre-flop. You know, when you flat ace-jack pre-flop, you get an ace-high board, you're facing 2 small bets, and you just let it go. Perhaps, you know, he should have had thoughts about maybe turning his hand into a bluff pre-flop instead of calling.
Picking the action back up on our main table. Top pair, top kicker for Cervantes and Morris with the overpair betting 6K here.
Here's Arthur Morris again, uncharacteristically quiet when he's involved in a pot.
Morris raced the 1K before the flop. Gupta called, and Cervantes 3-bet to 4,400. Morris called, and Gupta folded. And then after flopping top pair, top kicker, Cervantes decided to check.
800. 800 is the raise.
Check call for 6K on the flop. 3 of spades pops up. Morris still with the overpair.
Heads up.
Michael Cervantes gives it some thought and decides to check to Morris. Arthur Morris, 2.7 million in career tournament earnings, 105 live results, 49 cashes at the World Series of Poker, and he's going to continue firing here with his overpair. The bet is 11,500.
Yeah, I like this bet from Arthur Morris here. A lot of people, especially in the main event, will want to pot control a little bit. I just think he's getting value here against a hand exactly like his opponent Cervantes has.
What sort of range are we assigning Morris here from Cervantes' perspective? Doesn't seem like an easy hand to get away from here. Top pair, top kicker.
No, not at all, because Morris can continue to fire here with a hand like 9-10 suited, ace-10, ace-king, all these hands that have draws.
5 of diamonds completes the board. Cervantes out of position, so first to act.
Yeah, that's a pretty safe card for Arthur Morris. You don't expect your opponent to be floating the flop with hands like 6, 7, or ace deuce, or even pocket fives played this way. So just a very, very safe card for Morris. I would like to see Morris fire again for value here.
Morris taking his time. Now in the main event, is there perhaps a thought of going a bit smaller when you're going for value, as players are scared of their tournament life, but they might be able to pay off a smaller bet?
Yeah, in general, that makes sense. I mean, players are more reluctant to put in all of their chips than most of their chips.
That's a price I can pay, my friend.
Yeah, but in this case, Morris goes for the very small size. Cervantes quickly makes the call.
Nice hand.
Thank you.
Incredible value here for Kings, but also you got to feel for Cervantes, top pair, top kicker. You know, your hands are sort of tied.
Absolutely, and yeah, Cervantes could not have gotten away from that one on that run out against that size.
For sure.
I thought you had ace queen. I didn't think you'd pay a shove.
Well,
I was wrong. You were right.
Good read by Morris there.
I had ace queen.
Called out his opponent's hand.
It helps when you know what your opponent has.
I always get weird emotions about how to bet the river in the day one of the main event.
I know what you mean. I know what you mean.
Yeah.
Is he looking for sympathy?
Well, Cervantes is indicating that he would have called an all-in, so I'm not sure if Morris agrees or believes him, but he may be regretting that he went for about a 4th size pot there on the river instead of going a little larger.
You know how long the delay is?
2 hours.
2 hours.
Yes.
Incorrect. Our delay right now is only 30 minutes.
Tell your girl in London, turn on 2 hours, let you know.
It's a bit too late.
I think it started at 5:30.
Well, in what 6 hours later in London, right? Or what 8 hours later?
Yeah.
Oh yeah, I'm in Dallas. That's why.
Are you sure it's not 45 minute delay?
Yeah, it's 45 minutes.
Oh, it's only 45-minute delay.
32.
Well, there you go. Your girl might be up. Tell her. Hey, I'm on TV, babe. I got this talker on my left. He's very nice.
We'd almost forget Hellmuth's here. He's so quiet and casual, waiting for his moments here.
I think it's 45 minutes.
Yeah, it said it started at 5:30.
Okay. I'll have to tell
The reason I know is because
Because it's your show. We get it. We get it.
Well, I want to say that in a less cocky way.
I got you.
People already think I'm too cocky.
Remko, it's Hellmuth's world. We're just living in it.
They didn't tell us who the last player was, and we're all like, we fucking know.
Can we look at each other on this table?
Yeah.
None of us are famous.
Yeah.
It's got to be Phil.
Like, this isn't for Arthur. We know who's coming.
As is D-Neg's already seated? All right, then it's Phil. Process of elimination. We're done here.
Raise.
Raise 1,000.
Hellmuth with his
This is the 4th time I played with you this summer.
trademark late arrival.
No one deuce.
Skip the
Super
first 2
Brownie,
levels.
This.
Did we play dealer's choice?
Dealer's choice. Day 2. You had the Queen 10-9-8 double suited.
That
Hearts
one
and
hurt
diamonds. Yeah, you had chips after you won that pot. I
did.
I would have been chip leader if I won that pot.
Yeah.
Overpair flush draw versus wrap flush draw versus Dustin Dirkson's hand.
Jared Mangini off to a good start in the main event, raising with ace queen to 1,000. Gupta to his direct left, 3-betting with king queen of diamonds.
Like this 3-bet, putting on some pressure on your opponent who's entering from a position that will certainly have some steals in the cutoff, or I'm sorry, in the hijack. So the 3-bet from the cutoff with king queen suited. I do like it, but these 2 players will go to a flop.
Seeing jack 5 deuce 2 spades roll off.
everything that's not aces or queens. So the queen jack's like in theory not very good.
Mangini,
But because I think
quick
he bets
to check.
100% of jack jack and queen queen.
Do we have
combos,
to assign Mangini
the
with
king's
many
like
cards
five,
that connect with
and
this
he has a
board
ton of, like,
if we're Gupta?
ace king that has a
Well, he
gutter
certainly
plus
could. He could
and
have
backdoor
hands
flush
like
draw.
king jack suited, queen
then,
jack
like,
suited, jack 10 suited,
I am at 20.
perhaps even
Oh,
ace
yeah,
jack
so I
offsuit,
bet,
pocket pairs.
6.
But
I would
nonetheless,
come over there,
do
but I know the
like
cameras will follow me and
continuation
you'll
bet.
get mad.
I bet.
And
No,
I like the
bet
call
I'll-
That's
facing
why I
a
haven't
small
come over for a
size
kiss.
here with ace queen with the queen of spades.
11-5 is bombing. It's 20% of a starting stack.
Out of
But,
respect
like,
for you, honey.
You know, so then he.
9 of hearts comes on the turn. What's Mangini's game plan here?
So now at this point, facing a bet, Mangini's going to have to let it go. I mean, part of the reason he continued on the flop was
fired up
because,
that
first of all, he's
500
ahead of
PLO
bluffs,
online
but also
event
he has the
before we-
backdoor. He has
before we did
backdoor
this.
straight possibilities, and he has a
I don't have
backdoor
any
flush.
service.
On the turn, no cards came that interact with
tried to play
either
the
the backdoor
account,
straight or
but
backdoor
we
flush,
don't
so
have
he's
any
going to have to just
Wi-Fi.
let it go here facing a bet.
I keep losing Wi-Fi. I've been trying
I
to.
got
Gupta,
5G.
not
You
sure-
don't
not
have,
slowing
like,
down,
regular
betting
social-
I've been trying to
8500.
use 5G, but I can't.
Huh.
It's not. Well, now it's saying something about my location. It's all.
I got 4 bars. You want to set up a hotspot?
I don't know. Am I allowed to play or no?
Really nicely played by Gupta there.
Yeah, Mangini does let it go, and Gupta takes it down with
I
the
don't know,
second
you
barrel
know,
on the turn. Phil Hellmuth there, you heard him talking. His wife is on the rail,
I'll let
but
you do it.
she
I'll
doesn't
set
like
up a
the
hotspot.
attention.
Okay, perfect.
He doesn't
Thank
want to make her uncomfortable, but she
But
is
you
here
have
to watch,
Verizon
which is
or
always, of course,
AT&T?
good to have that family support on the rail.
Hello.
Oh, interesting. When I'm at the, I like listening to music. I'm like, don't put me at the future table. Listen to my music.
Good luck with that. At least in this tournament.
It worked for 12 years. They said, okay, Phil. The rule was they cut off headphone use when you're in the money.
Yeah, that was
They got rid of that rule pretty quickly.
Yeah.
Pop that and then turn around. Yeah.
I remember when
I
they
know
cut
that
off.
they would prefer us not to. You listen to music.
It's better for TV too when we're talking and like there's like banter and whatnot. That's way better. Otherwise, it's just like the commentators talking.
Good for
over
poker.
For sure. Oh God, I cannot wait to fucking tell Tim that you said I'm good at stud. I'm like actually that's the most excited I've been all day. He's been telling me he will sell his house, sell his mortgage, do whatever he can to find money to play me heads up in Razor Stud. That was the bit on his podcast.
Arthur Morse, a
Don't
big
think it would work out too good.
supporter of the PokerGo podcast. In case you're into poker podcast, I will highly recommend you check it out. Donnie Peters and Tim Duckworth are doing a great job. They are doing lots of giveaways as well. As we have more action here, Hellmuth involved. Cullen raising it up with 9s. Hellmuth calling with 3s. Mangini finding aces, making it 4K. Now, if Cullen comes along here, that might give Hellmuth a nice price to get involved here and see a flop with a small pocket pair.
Yeah, both players may end up choosing to go for the set mine here.
Yeah, I have a huh?
Yeah,
105,000.
Colin looks like he's letting it go. I like that fold.
Funny,
Colin did enter under the gun +1, and he got a call from under the gun +2. So those are two very strong positions. So for Mangini to go for the 3-bet here, normally it's going to be a tighter type of range. So I certainly don't mind the fold with pocket 9s at all. Hellmuth, does make the call.
Also coming with the trademark check in the dark, which of course is a move that is sort of from a bygone era, but he's the only one that still finds ways to apply it.
Relatively speaking. And also now it can snowball. Because like when you front run in this thing, it's
Looks
way
for a
different
set,
than playing from
did
behind.
not get it, and Mangini picks up a few extra chips here. By the way, if you're catching us on YouTube right now, please don't forget to like that video and subscribe to the channel. We have daily highlights. We are doing all sorts of streaming, and if you are into poker, simply missing out if you're not subscribed. Much love as well to
I might have had
everyone
you
watching on
before the
PokerGo.
Add a
We're in the
pair.
chat as well with our trusted moderators. We got Jimmy Blufford, we got Russell, Christie, everyone
Pair under
helping
10.
us out. Much love to you all.
Tough spot.
Little Scott Palmer from the side there with the gray hoodie there, Kane.
You know, this is such a hard tournament to win
We keep heard this.
that I'm going to try to, like, if I flop a set of 3s or deuces and someone has an overset, they just have to bust me. But if they have aces or kings, then I'm going to have a lot of chips. Or if you had nines and you bet king 10-4, sometimes I just check raise. Or maybe you had ace king and it comes 7-9-4 and you want to make a big bluff. That's why I win. I just sometimes know.
You look like a guy with fours.
Colin raising it up with ace 10
with
after
what?
tossing those nines, and he
I look like a guy with what?
You look
gets to
like a
pick up
guy with
small
fours,
one here.
Diane.
I wish. There was a 4 on board. Who here is from outside the U.S.? England? London?
Nottingham.
Nottingham. Okay, I gave a speech there.
Gave a speech. Whereabouts?
There was some big coliseum. I gave the speech and
Coliseum?
well, it was a big facility. I gave a speech and I took a helicopter ride over and gave the same speech. Crazy. Right in front of this guy named George Bush. The older one. I spoke right in front of him, which was a little...
When he was president?
No. So it was weird. I came to this location. I took a helicopter over, gave a speech, took the helicopter back, then spoke right before he spoke. Very weird.
Hellmuth is one of a kind, Remko.
You know what the beauty is of this moment?
He said, Phil, Secret Service knows you, Phil. They like you. How's your life? What a question. How is your life?
Oh my God. I can't.
All right, is it just me, or does Phil Hellmuth give you like 10% Trump vibes?
So isn't it like Nottingham's like hundreds
Oh,
of miles away?
I totally see what you're getting at.
Wow. 100.
So you know what the beauty of this moment was?
Maybe it was further north.
Hellmuth?
than that. I remember I had to take a plane from London to get to where I was.
Hellmuth is wondering, where are you people from? And the first person he asks says a random place, and he goes on a 2-minute
Nottingham
monologue
near
about how
Ross?
he's been there, met the president, done a big
Oh,
speech.
Yeah, that's where Nottingham is.
Okay, so I'm going to, I was planning on going there August 20th. Till dusk till dawn. I checked.
They have a series or?
No, I'm going to meet the
Rob Young asked me to come
current
film
president.
some stuff, and I said I would.
Taking his
Does
helicopter.
he play the World Series at all?
I'll make it 4,600. Just
Okay.
a small raise.
Okay, Hellmuth is in action
I
now.
think he did this year.
The check
I
raise.
haven't seen him.
Yeah, I haven't been quiet.
I'm sure if he came over, he would have played like the 250 or the hundreds, and I don't think I saw him in any of the fields.
Interesting situation here, by the way. Let's catch up on the
he was
action.
due to
Hellmuth
arrive
limped under
that
the
night.
gun.
Oh, so he's gonna play
Mangini raised the
main?
1400 with
Okay.
3 deuce offsuit to his direct left.
Oh my
Cervantes called. Then Hellmuth came along. We are 3-way on the flop. Mangini with the steal, 2200. Hellmuth with a check raise, very small.
And
now
Mangini floated.
He floated. Now we're on the turn.
6,000.
Hellmuth continuing here for 6,000.
Continuing Mangini with the deuce of clubs. I wonder if he's thinking, you know what? Now might be a good time to represent a flush against Phil Hellmuth.
Is Mangini trying to start something here?
All right, I give up.
Oh,
Sorry, guys.
I would have loved to see the raise.
I'm not bluffing. I have
I
a
didn't
king.
think you were.
The
I'm
way-
not low.
The way Mangini said, sorry guys, it almost feels like he had a prop bet with his friend saying, I'm at Hellmuth's table,
The diaper?
I'm going to try to bluff him.
Right.
We call it something else, but yes.
Oh, wow. Dirty die pressure. Check.
Got a raise.
It's like a Reno Tahoe thing, right? Yeah.
You, the skinny.
That's right.
Deuce
I heard the
3?
story.
Did you have a club?
Skinny. I had the deuce of clubs.
Oh, then you were live, unfortunately.
Oh, you were hunting for a story there.
Oh God! If you wanted to have the feature table extend, and you put the
Boys.
deuce 3 off with the duo club on Phil, you would have got the table extended. Let me tell you,
I should have
it
just
would have
called.
been extended.
You were
I
there.
should have just called the 6K, huh?
Yeah, if you call the 6K and hit a club.
And especially if you value bet the club. Especially like if he checks and you bet the river, and it wins somehow. Like
That's true.
It's night. We're staying here all day, boys.
Raise it up.
Raise 1,000.
You probably don't remember this, Phil, but I busted you in the Hall of Fame tournament last year. Got that bounty.
You're right. He doesn't remember.
Still haven't cashed
What did I
that thing
have?
in. You had eights. You were getting short. You just shoved with eights at ace jack, and then you're like, oh, how could you make that call?
All right. Well, I'm going to make it 2,400.
Oh my God, this is perfect. Palmer with the ace king suited and the speech. Hellmuth finds ace queen.
If you put that much money in with ace jack, then I have to raise it.
It was
Oh
only
baby,
like
this could be fun.
32
Palmer, some good speech play here against Hellmuth, inducing a 3-bet from his
might have like
opponent.
10 big blinds, 10 or 12, something like that.
All right, here comes the flop.
Could've been so glorious.
King, king, 3.
Wow.
Palmer smashes it.
More than you realize it would have been.
Oh, I know.
It would have been real pain felt. But then, like, you just run into like Phil having a club, and you're just
He snapped me like he has sevens or
I didn't think my hand was very fucking sweet. I was like,
Yeah, that's why it's that sweet of a bluff, though.
This is the most casual ace king versus ace queen hand we've seen in a long time.
uh-oh.
Hellmuth coming along here with ace high.
Check.
River is the 8 of clubs, and Palmer bets 6,000. Wow.
Wow,
Ace,
ace king. I called you with ace
trip.
queen high. You had me so convinced.
Wow.
You had
Dang.
me so convinced you don't know what you're doing.
I pissed
called
him
you
off
ace
with
queen.
that story about last year. He couldn't stand
You
it.
provoked him.
We might.
No, every year there's like 3 people at the table that play horrendously against me, and I just call them down with ace queen high.
Well, what's wrong with that? I mean, did you
You
want
didn't
me
play
to?
horrendously. You had the best hand at every stage.
Remko, that was a great play by Palmer. He
That's the best
induced
you
Phil
get, huh?
Hellmuth to 3-bet with a hand that Hellmuth might otherwise just call by telling him the ace-jack story.
guy the hand
Then
before
his
called him
timing
3 high.
made Helmuth think that maybe he was weak,
called him
maybe had
quickly
pocket
with,
sevens,
ace queen
instead
high.
of him having as strong of a hand as he had, and then he
But
got
the key
value
was I
from
showed
Hellmuth
it.
on the river. I mean, very, very well played by Palmer there. Not just the way he
For
played
a
the
lot
hand,
of
but
very
also the
specific
table talk and everything. I love it.
Absolutely
Hey,
perfect.
Ryan.
Perha- Perhaps a
Ryan,
page to
you
add
want a
to your
beer?
book, Kane, as far as Hellmuth's strategy.
And then
Remind
two beers
him
from
of
my
an
tomorrow.
elimination, whether it's true or not. Just make up some random tournament and then trying to get some
Can I
chips
get 2
in.
bottles of water,
Play
please?
on a bit of the ego strings there.
The
So
only
far.
thing that would make that better is if Palmer never actually played
Hero
with
bluff,
him.
Exactly.
hero call
Exactly.
gone awry.
Palmer is a professional poker player,
have a
44
sugar
years
and a
old,
no pear.
from Alabama.
Sir. Also a Coke when you can.
I'll just go over there and take the order.
I
Well, when he
appreciate
said
it.
he busted me with ace jack, immediately I'm like, okay.
Yeah, I got you.
He's one of the guys who puts in way too much money with ace jack.
Now it was
breaks in
suited.
69 minutes.
All right.
This is
But
a
I got
foolproof
24.
strategy.
Try again.
There was a hand or whatever, but
Hellmuth
it's-
picking up hands here, coming in with the 3-bet with ace queen. We don't see Hellmuth 3-bet all that much. He's usually one to keep the pot small, but picking up hands now, also getting
I'm off
involved.
the hand, I guess.
Gupta
Yeah,
in position with king queen of hearts here.
Well, I'm a bit
Looks like
surprised
I'm on
to see
tilt
the
after the last
3-bet
hand.
from Phil
No,
Hellmuth
it
against an under-the-gun raise. I would have expected
Smart
him
man.
to just call here out of the small blind, but I do think that maybe he thinks his opponent will think he's tilted after the last hand. He just kind of advertised that, and that is the ace-high flop that Hellmuth was looking for.
You go ahead.
Smart man.
Get you whenever you come back.
So this is one of the things about Hellmuth's game, having commentated on him a lot. When he does
Yeah.
get a hand
12:30.
against
But I think we're only gonna be
inexperienced
on the
players,
feature
which I don't think
for,
Gupta is a part of that group,
the end of
they
the
will
level,
often
basically.
get carried away
Unless something
because
happens
it's
to Phil,
Hellmuth, and that's how
then
he makes a
changes
lot of
them and
chips.
They want us on there. Appreciate you.
Great table so
That's
far
why
here.
you don't typecast players.
Yeah.
I remember some of the guys that busted me, like when I made top 1%, did some really bad stuff, and I'm like, he's one of those. No, Phil, the man had ace king suited.
Also,
flop
that's
3 kings.
why you're great, because you can say, oh, he's one of those and make good calls.
One of those
It works
poker
both ways. It's
animals.
Yeah, but
double-edged
I was
sword.
wrong.
See an elephant,
Yeah.
see a...
That's like the whole game of poker, right? It's like
He also did something very, he snap called on the flop, which was really smart. Because now I'm like, all right, maybe
1,000.
sevens.
Yeah.
The snap call was really smart.
You want to change?
Yeah, I'll take some.
There's a lesson there. Never underestimate people.
Hellmuth involved in his third straight hand. Ace-5, 8-2 clubs on board. Hellmuth flops top pair again. This time against two much inferior hands. Cervantes having a rough go at this level. Blomley with the small pair.
1-8. 1-8. 18.
Mikael Blomley, 720,000 in career earnings from Trondheim, Norway. That's 1,800. Hellmuth makes the call, and we'll go heads up to the turn. Turn is the 4 of hearts. Sixes starting to improve. Blumley's slowing down. Hellmuth betting 4K very quickly.
Oh, sorry. Sir, they're telling us no phones at the table. I just did the same thing.
Yeah.
I didn't realize. I was trying to tell my son I was going to say hi to him on the next hand when the camera's on me.
You want to see it?
Yeah, always.
Doesn't matter for me. Like that.
Always say yes. Always.
Hellmuth tabling ace-jack.
Always say yes.
Keeps him
reason
honest.
to not want to see.
Looks like the Secret Service is over there in the background, keeping an eye on Phil Hellmuth.
There might be a reason not to see it.
George W. Bush sent him.
I'm the only top professional poker player that shows a lot of hands. Are you aware of this?
Yeah, I mean, there's a couple, but yeah, you're
Name one other. Name one.
Ren Lin.
Okay. Okay, so Ren, okay.
You know, I mean, there's a few. There's not that many. There's really not.
Confidently,
Yeah,
name
a few people
one.
do it, but
Ren
no,
Lin.
you're-
Snaps it off.
Yeah, but I mean,
I love
for
these
sure, it's 5%.
Yeah,
great players show a lot of hands.
or less. Yeah, you're right. 100%.
The reason I show a lot of hands is because when I show, I'm influencing the way they think about me.
Sure.
Right.
Kane, picture this.
And so it
Cross-country
gives me
road
more
trip, LA to
control
New York
over-
City, in the car with Arthur Morris and Phil
Everybody
Hellmuth.
else is
Oh
afraid
my
to show.
gosh.
All these great players are afraid to show because the guy's going to read me. You know, that's their. I don't want somebody to get a free read. And I'm like, go ahead, read me.
This is a very interesting call by Arthur Morris. Under the gun opened. Arthur
I've never
Morris
talked about that
called
on the
with
stream,
under the
but
gun
I'm the
plus
only
one with
one that
that.
shows.
Jack
Well,
Queen
you're still
offsuit.
giving all
Very
different
loose call here.
reasons
Right, right. They say, right, the other great players are like, I don't want to give information for free. But I give information for free
Because you want to influence what's going to happen.
to use it against people later. I create perceptions. There's actually a lot more skill in showing a lot of hands.
Yeah, definitely. Not easy to play after showing your hand.
What kind of man would I be?
Everyone involved here. 5-way action to the flop, day one of the main event.
I can only imagine the people in the box discussing whether it's wise to show hands or not.
Well, Kane?
I wonder who's in the commentary booth.
Donnie and Remko.
Oh,
That
well,
is incorrect.
I want some GTO guy in there to say it's never correct. Da, 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 da. Never correct. Never correct. Don't do this. Da da da. Don't do that. Da da da. Da da da. Da da da.
All right, Kane, layup for you.
Well, there we go. We're talking about showing hands. What I can talk about is Phil Hellmuth confidently said, I am the only pro who shows my hands ever. And that was immediately disputed by Arthur. I mean, between the two of these guys, you ever play the, what's that game where you got to make stuff up and get other people to believe it?
Oh, like two truths and a lie?
Two truths and a lie, but there's another one. Man, I forget the name of it. But anyway, you got to just make stuff up and get your opponent, get the other people you're playing against to believe that you're telling the truth. Arthur and Phil would be the best in the world at that game because earlier in the stream, I'm not sure you remembered, somebody asked, how big is the delay on the stream? And Arthur confidently said 7 hours. I mean, the degree of confidence in what these two say, I love it. But that's part of what makes a good poker player. I mean, you got to have the confidence in order to make big moves, right? Big bluffs. And then you also got to, you know, even if your bet, you can't sit there and be in your head so much, oh, is what I'm doing right or wrong? At a certain point, you got to make a big decision, and more often than not, these two guys are going to be right about that.
Mankini with a nice pickup here versus Morris. And you can only bluff if you believe in your own bluff.
Exactly.
These guys, of course, have a lot of self-belief, and that is a good quality to have. All right, first time, or second time actually, checking in with Jeff Platt out in the field. Jeff, what do you got for us?
Okay, Remko, not to worry. I know you may be a little bit nervous today, maybe a little bit jittery. I've been walking through the Horseshoe Ballroom, and I have found him, your broadcast partner, Donnie Peters. He's here. He's involved in a pretty big hand. I wouldn't expect him back at work anytime soon because he's absolutely crushing it. He's approaching 150,000 in chips, one of the biggest stacks in the room. Got it in earlier with aces versus kings and held. That's a very valuable skill in the main event. We'll keep an eye on Donnie throughout the course of play. By the way, his 25K fantasy partner, Matt Clark, is just sitting right here. They won 25K fantasy last year. Probably not going to win it this year. We're going to send Donnie back to the action. Remko, I'm going to send it back to you and Kane.
Let's go,
Hey, Jack.
Donnie.
Love you. Daddy misses you.
Donnie Peters making a run this year in the main event. I called it. I called it last night.
No. Looks like he's clocked in over there.
That was a weird.
He wasn't even distracted by Jeff Platt behind him. But here's the only thing I think Donnie doesn't have going for him at this point. Just being in the vicinity of
Win
Jeff.
the main?
Right? I mean, is that still ongoing? Is that still a...
So Donnie is one of
There's
the
a big group
firmest
of guys that
believers
draft
in the Jeff
50
Platt
players
curse
each.
not being real,
that's kinda fun.
and it all starts with
Seaver
confidence.
often stands
So
out.
I feel as though
Yeah, I saw that
that
Dan
amount of
Zach
confidence
Yeah,
will
well,
ultimately cancel
Zach's
out
tweet is like,
whatever
he'll
juju
let you
Jeff
pick
carries.
We'll find out
any
today. I
70
mean, there was a little bit of
players
distance
in the
between the two of them.
Down to 10 to 70 players. Your choice, however many you want to bet. But you have to bet at least 10. I think up to either 70 or 150 match. Yeah, something like that.
So you
and
can
if they
pick
beat one
75 players?
Yeah, you pick them. You can pick anyone you want. And if that collective group beats 1.5 markup, then you win the bet. You pick anyone you want. You get Hellmuth, Negreanu, Ivy, whoever you want. You got to pick 75 players or up to 75. 10 to 75 players. Minimum 10.
I'd pick 5 all day.
Well, you have to pick at least 10. 10's the minimum. So the idea is that I guess Dan's hypothesis is that people aren't winning at the rates that they think they're winning at, and
That guy back there has a lot of Phil Hellmuth gear on, doesn't he?
Arthur Morris very quiet when he's in the hands, not so much when other people are in the hand. Joking aside here, seeing some people in the
stop
chat.
wearing my gear.
Fresh Blueberry says, Donnie
But
does
it's a
not
cool
believe
bet.
in the curse,
Like, the idea
yet he
is,
completely ignored
it's an
Jeff.
Open bet. You can bet anyone you want. He'll take as much action as you want. Minimum $1,000 bet. But it's fascinating if you try to think like, I'm going to pick 25 guys I think are just crushing.
I think if I was, I'm not going to make the bet, but if I was, I think I'd do like 10. I think less is more, but that's just my thinking. I don't know.
Well, you have to get less guys who can theoretically beat the markup, but also you have less chances on like a ceiling outlier that carries the whole weight of everything over.
2 ace highs flashing here. Watawan
I don't know
betting
what the sweet spot
1,300.
number is. I
Cervantes
don't know
coming
if there is
along with
one.
ace king. Just to recap this action
I know
here,
when Dan Smith is
Watawan
also
made it
offering
900
the same
before the
bet to
flop.
the field, that it
Cervantes
probably
made
is
the
the
call.
field.
Just the call with ace king pre-flop. Are you okay with that?
To take for fun.
No, I'd be going for the 3-bet with the ace king pre-flop.
Stop being mad at me.
You know, some people are trying to be tricky.
I
Some
think I
people
would
get a
take
little nervous in facing a
more
shove.
players that are likely to bust
With
and
50
not
big
make
blinds
cash,
here, I think
but
you want to
when
just
they
pick up the
cash,
chips pre-flop.
They're more prone to go way deeper. Because you need ceiling outcomes to win a bet like that.
Yeah, one guy cashes for 100 that covers 10 people.
Yeah. And like, it's interesting though because now you have a 2x min cash. It's different payouts this year, so like the min cash matters.
Yeah, Dan's X bet isn't as good anymore.
Yeah.
You like the 2x min cash?
No, for me, I personally don't. What I would like is this: if they went to like the WPT payouts, which is 12% instead of 15, and then you can 2x it, and then it's like a hybrid, but that 3% that you fade makes the payouts from like 10th to like 30th a little more rewarding. Like you get, I feel like right now, like if you get,
We used to like it when we got mad in the old days. We used to be 40% for first, 20 for second, 10 for third.
Yeah, I mean,
Cervantes
and when they switched that structure,
leading out
we
the
were
river
mad.
after the turn goes
Of course
check,
I
check.
won a lot back then.
Very interesting hands.
Yeah, and the field
Very
plan is massive,
confusing
so-
to put this together.
And you got down to the
Yeah, I'm
final
not sure
three,
what
usually
Cervantes
you
is doing here, but he looks like he made an effective value bet here. He
Got
ended
the-
up getting paid by ace-10.
Yeah, got the value on the river with the unraised, or I should say the unaggressive version of ace-king.
Yeah, just a little blocker bet there on the river with the ace-king. Surprising to see his opponent look
Usually
him
by
up
now
with
I've
a
seen the
weak
videos
raise
of
in
the
the main
entrance.
event.
You know?
Oh yeah. Is
I
that?
go back to my room, change clothes.
Going back to our secondary table, headlined by Johnny Chan.
Raise to go to 200.
By red line. Yeah.
I'm hearing Kane Callis coming through the microphone. Someone is watching the stream on their phone at the secondary table here. It's Jarman raising it up with king 9 of clubs. Kimber calls with 7s. Wolf 3-bets with queens, and Brandt, the one, picking up ace king of diamonds in the big blind. Here comes the call. Kane, how would you rate your performance? You know, you get a chance to listen back a little bit. All right, so the flat call here, ace king of diamonds from Brandt. Quite interesting here to not want to 4-bet, take initiative here. Out of position with ace king. Is Brandt just concerned about a very narrow range for Wolf here?
Remko, correct me if I'm wrong, but these are the same 3 guys who were squaring off in the last giant pot.
Yes, you're right.
On the 5-5 deuce 8-7 board with 3 diamonds.
Absolutely. A very cheap ace king here for Brandt. Lets it go. Kimber also out of the way, and Wolf takes it down. So I am curious though. You know, ace king of diamonds, very strong hand, out of position here. Would you often just flat here, getting a 3-bet in front of you?
Facing a 3-bet in the big blind ace king of diamonds. Ace king is a hand where you really want to a lot of times push your equity pre-flop, so I would be looking to re-raise. Sometimes you'll even get a very tight fold out of a hand like pocket queens pre-flop, and obviously that's a huge win when that happens.
Looks like it's Nick Maimoni perhaps watching the stream.
It's Maimoni. I think he'll like the words I had to say about him. And I'll tell you what, Remko, it's only slightly distracting hearing myself speak as I'm speaking.
What a flop. Ace 5. I told you she was dealing blood. Look at this ace 5. Look at this flop. You had 1 out.
You know what I think is happening? They are skimming the stream to find the big pot they played, because they want to know what Brandt had when he bet the river in that 3-way pot.
Wow. See, he had ace 5.
I've never seen this before. Maimoni is playing it out on speakerphone. Everyone able to get the same information here about that massive pot we saw earlier.
Oh, sorry.
Aces, ace 5, and pocket 8s. Maimoni, by the way, in this hand, raising it up to 1,000 with jacks.
Yeah, he could care less about his pocket jacks. He's so invested in this previous hand that went down. But in this hand, he did get called by Bickley with the ace 4 suited. That's a hand that could either 3-bet or call.
6-3-7 rolls off the deck here. Maimoni decides to not continue.
Maimoni checks. A lot of times you'll see a continuation bet from an overpair like with jacks here. The type of hands that I like to continuation bet on a board like this. Pocket 8s, pocket 9s, pocket 10s, pocket jacks. Hands that need a little more protection. I might want to just check and slow play though with a hand like pocket aces or pocket kings, because there are fewer dangerous cards that could come off on the turn. And now when the 5 comes, Maimoni begins to bet, and he just gets a call here from a straight by Bickley.
River card is the 10 of hearts. Bickley with the check mark. Would you have liked to see Bickley put in a raise on the turn, perhaps?
That's 5,200.
It's tough to represent too many bluffs on the turn. I do think maybe there are some combos of 9-10 that could play that way. Maybe a hand like 8-10 suited. So yeah, I think a raise on the turn would have been good, but as the way he played it, he ended up getting Maimoni to value bet turn and river and he quickly makes the call and takes down the pot. I would have considered a raise on the river, but I think in the end I would have just settled on a call because it's going to be really tough for Maimoni facing a raise there to call with an overpair like pocket jacks.
Well, Robert Bickley, no stranger to success, has $1 million in career earnings, a 4th place in the 2017 World Series of Poker Europe main event for $389K. Me personally, quite surprised to not see a river raise there.
Yeah, I mean, your hand is very strong. The issue is, you know, what worse hands are calling you. Maimoni probably would call with a set, but wouldn't you value bet a set on the flop?
Paired board comes to mind with that
But
one
what
too.
are you worried
Just
about?
start clicking each other.
Well, you're worried about 8-9. You're worried about, you know, 8-9 suited, which would play the hand that way.
I know you don't have it. I'm just ripping when I have 80, when he has 80% of it.
It's also different in the main event,
you know
right?
he
In
can't
another
call.
tournament, you can raise there, and your opponents may make some light calls. Your opponents may give you some credits for some bluffs. In the main event, people
better
just
be
tend
right.
to overfold on the river when facing
It's a
a
huge
raise.
punt if you're wrong.
So it's hard to get value, but I certainly think that the textbook play or the GTO play would be to raise the river there with the ace-4 of clubs for sure.
Is the dinner break after this level, or?
King, King 6 on the board here. Morris not inclined to 3-bet before the flop. Gupta picks up a small pair this one.
They don't want you on the phone.
Gupta continues for 1100. Morris just with the call. No value in raising with jacks. You just want to keep your opponent betting.
No, you don't have to go right now, but maybe.
I think Gupta's sunglasses are brand new. The sticker is still on them.
Yeah, you'd be better off putting it on the thing.
When people have glasses that are that reflective, I'm always nervous that somebody at the table could see the cards reflecting in their glasses. My vision's not that good, so I normally can't.
Okay, babe.
But imagine you're playing with, you know, somebody with somebody with hawk vision.
Well, Gupta is going to come along, make the call. 7 on the river, of course, quite meaningless here. And Morris, by not 3-betting before the flop, looking at some additional value from exactly the hand that he's up against.
I think so, and it's going to be interesting if Morris value bets here. Gupta has probably one of the best hands to check raise on a bluff. He's blocking a lot of the pocket 6s, pocket 7s that Arthur Morris could have that would make full houses. Obviously, if Morris bets here, then Gupta could only beat a bluff with a call. He couldn't beat any of Morris's value range. Morris does just check. Man, I would have liked to see a bet from Morris, and just to see if Gupta was going to pull the trigger and make the raise.
I wasn't going to check call.
Huh?
I wasn't going to check call, but either check fat raise or check fold.
It's kind of what I figured. Plus, you have a ton of 7-7, 6-6, 5-5, 8-8. You have a lot of those hands. I get value from 10-10 exactly, and 9s might fold. Really? I mean, like, I don't really have worse. It's hard for me to have worse.
All right, Kane,
I
we'll
don't know.
go.
It seemed pretty nitty,
We'll get
but
lunch.
it probably wasn't that nitty
Arthur
in
Morris will
reality.
take it from here.
If you bet, you got to find the call then.
Yeah, I'm back calling if I bet. Or, I mean, I don't know. I had decided what I was going to do, but
You think Mikey's table's way over on the other side?
it's in Paris. We were adjacent to it. He was in the 6th seat on table 29, Paris Black.
But you got moved over here.
Yes.
All right, Remko,
from
hear me out
Paris
on this
Black
one.
28.
Arthur Morris,
I wonder if he got moved over here.
to
Nah,
me,
it was just for the feature
looks
set.
like
We were just
Mike
got moved because we
Matisow's
got
son.
you. They were like, you got this really tall, nice guy.
Can you
We're
see
gonna-
it?
we're gonna move
Yeah, I
you."
can see it, and the amount of
Call
chatter
me a
also
nice guy right
reflects
now.
his
The public-
upbringing.
the public thinks I'm a
100%.
bad guy. Only the poker players know that I'm a nice guy.
Ruin your reputation. with
Don't
that.
ruin my rep.
Let's just ask Shandeep's son who's nice and who's not.
I already heard you made a pretty mean squeeze a little bit ago.
Mean what?
Squeeze play.
To 5K?
What's your opinion on players
but
openly
that's
talking
poker.
strategy at the
I
table,
agree, I'm just-
like Arthur Morris just did? Do you think it comes off intimidating
There's
to
no way I'm
those that
betting
might
I'm not
not
gonna give
be
you shit.
as well versed?
I
Do you
did
think
raise
it's
a little
a
light on that hand.
okay
It was a little
conversation
little
topic
light.
at the
What'd you
table?
have?
I try to avoid it. You
Some
know,
of us
as a
didn't look or
professional
have anyone
poker
telling
player,
us.
the last thing
And
you
since
want to
don't
be
mind sharing
doing
some reads.
is educating other
I
players
thought
at
the guy
the
was
table.
weak, And so he raised, he called, and I'm like, they don't have anything, fuck it.
I folded a big hand.
You did?
Bad fold, buddy.
He just entered first race.
1,000.
And then I haven't made a bluff or since. You can't win the main event by bluffing a lot on day one.
I was making an exception. with
Morris
this game
continuing to
because
play
I
very
had to.
loose, facing an open
Oh,
here.
you would have just
We
smashed
have
the
an
bucket
open
list with that
from
shit.
the
You would've been-
hijack. He calls in the
Legend.
cutoff with
He had
9-6
raised the
suited,
turn after he bet
you know, is
6K,
looser
he
than
made
I
like
would call here.
18,000. Oh my God.
There's a lot of
Dealer button comes along with
Right.
9-10 suited. We have
So it just
three-way
has like
action.
the ace of clubs as his off card. You're just fucked.
Showed a red king.
Yeah, here's another card.
Yeah, I know. But
There's the flop, queen, deuce, 3-2
There it is.
spades.
Skinny got there.
Would have been even
was happy
better
when
as
you
if
folded, 'cause I'm like,
he makes it 18K and I call.
I was like, this is what I
Would
was.
Blomley have the range advantage here? Raising pre-flop can represent the queen here, or is multi-way action just asking for trouble if you're trying to get involved?
Yeah,
here?
this hand just isn't strong enough to put chips in the pot as
Yeah,
a
that would've
pre-flop
been-
raiser.
that
And
would've
as
got
we can
real
see,
spicy
Morris
for
is the one
sure.
who bets out there, takes down the pot. So
It actually would've been sick if you
part
hit
it
it
seems
off
like
and
part
then
of what
just
Morris's
double.
strategy is to
Would've been
play a
sick,
lot of spots, play some small ball, and then look for spots to just attack
Well,
on the flop.
Hero called with ace high already.
Yeah, true.
I mean, so far it's
True.
working for him.
It would have been a
Less
bigger
than a
bet.
Anytime I hear you, anytime I hear you say it took me less than a second to call, I always look back to the Brett Ritchie best Shaq hand. Less than a second. It's just like she's flashing the aces as gang signs to the rail. You know, they're celebrating. Brett Judd's like, what am I gonna do with these kings? And he calls it off. It's like, wow.
Arthur Morris talking about one of the
I
most
don't know how long
iconic
ago.
hands
Yeah, it was a
in
totally
WSOP
different
history.
Aaron,
Yeah, but that's,
Like a man.
that's
You
what I think of anytime you
man.
say,
You know.
less than a second. It's like totally different, you know?
Nobody folded kings back then.
No one.
Except me, I was the only one.
I still don't fold kings.
As evidence today.
Fine.
He got it. He was the one who got the kings into aces in the first bubble.
All right, here's a good
double.
over under
hit the-
Remko.
he hit
the
Throughout the
Broadway.
Guy
broadcast
sat down and played
today,
his very
how
first
many
hand.
different things do you think Phil Hellmuth claims to be the only one
You don't hear too
to
many
have done?
stories of the guy.
So
with the
far,
aces
we're at
actually
3 or
losing that
4. I've lost count.
Yeah.
I mean, the longer this
I
table
think I'm destined to win.
stays the way that it is, the more things they'll come up with
Maybe.
to point out.
So we got a raise from Gupta, call from Cervantes. This is a tough spot for Blomley here with pocket jacks. This is a hand that does really want to 3-bet it. There are a lot of flops where jacks struggle to continue, especially multi-way. However, in the
How much
main
you have,
event, if you
58?
3-bet and
Whoa.
get 4-bet, it's
Me?
really
Yeah.
not
Yeah,
a good
58.
situation for jacks. So
That is
I
exactly
understand the
right.
call, but I could also
No
understand playing the hand more aggressively
You
pre-flop. And
reminded
here's
me of
Hellmuth,
the last squeeze I made.
Actually,
on-
big
Wow.
slick in the big blinds.
He's an Indian guy.
8,000, that's a big raise.
All the time.
It is a big raise.
And they check raise the fuck out of rivers.
You don't care how much I have,
As a
just him.
Class of.
Oh, no, I actually thought you might be the one who
Check
moved
raise
in
rivers
here. I
when
actually
thinks
thought
he's
my.
betting them.
Wow, what
I
a
think he
what
has
a tough spot
the, like,
now
maybe
for
best check
Blomley.
raise river hand you can possibly have.
What are you
Block
doing here,
sixes full
Remko? I
and
mean, it's the
sevens
main
full.
event.
Oh,
And
you
Hellmuth
can't really have
is,
sixes as,
you know,
like,
he's the
check
type of
flop.
guy who, when all
Or,
the
like,
chips get in,
sevens,
he's not going to have
absolutely.
pocket
Seven,
tens,
eight,
right?
like,
Ever.
true
But
bets,
he
but
could
can't have the
squeeze
hand
bluff.
because He wouldn't have called the flop.
So what do you do here with pocket jacks?
Oh, wow, and Blomley moves all
Blomley
in.
going all in, back over the top.
Call.
And Hellmuth snaps it off with ace-king, and we got a huge coin flip on our hands here. Day 1C of the main event, Hellmuth risking a large portion of his stack. The man known for his small ball poker, risking a lot here with ace-king suited. Kane, you can't fault him here for getting involved.
Absolutely not. No, Hellmuth played his hand right, and Blomley has played. I do like the shove. You see a lot of people maybe want to make a tight fold there against Phil. I like the shove with the pocket
it's
jack.
PLO concept using like.
All right, here comes the flop. 6-8-8, Jacks well out in front here. Hellmuth 27% to take the lead here.
Raising when he has eights full. Eights full is the only thing he's going to lead for 2x.
Oh, king on the turn. Hellmuth gets there. And now Blomley looking for the last remaining jack as the jack of clubs has already been folded, gathering his belongings.
I'm rooting for it.
And it's a 9 of spades on the river. Hellmuth sends the Norwegian to the rail. Mikkel Blomley eliminated on day 1C of the main event. Hellmuth up to close to 100K already here.
Got there.
Well, Blomley should be very happy with how he played. I might even say that so far, I think he played the best at this table of all of the players. So Blomley, well played, good game. But Phil Hellmuth can win flips. That's how you do it, Remko.
Wow.
Do you know that he's the only player who's ever 3-bet the ace-king suited and snap called in less than... Oh,
Flip.
Hellmuth showing a little class there.
Blomley did not seem that
Maybe
interested.
got lucky. No, Blomley was ready to head out.
I did not have a good feeling about that hand.
No.
You do now.
Ace, king of diamonds, under the gun, raise, call, call, call. I was thinking about smooth calling.
Instead, he made it.
But when
I just
20x.
laid you up though for the light squeeze, and then you're not light.
Right, and I'm like, he
And
just
then you're
told
not
everybody I
light, so-
squeezed, so of course I'm not going to raise again until I have it. I made it 8K, and then he moved in for 35.
Yeah, you're just always flipping. I think when he flats and back jams, he just doesn't have aces in that spot very often, or kings for that matter.
It seemed impossible
Raise.
to have ace king.
Yeah.
I felt like ace queen was possible.
Ladies and gentlemen, if
Maybe.
you're just tuning in, we got Phil
35K.
Hellmuth and Arthur Morris on the commentary today. Hellmuth doing the play-by-play, Arthur with the color.
90 bigs, I don't know. Just a ton of flips with some dead money.
Well, I was wrong once already.
Kane, dare I point out the enormous mood swing we just witnessed with that king on the turn?
Oh, 100%. Hellmuth tried to act, the camera went to him, he tried to act like he didn't care, and
My first was Phil
really
first.
in his head, it made his day.
Phil is going to bet 800. 800,
Now he's in referring to himself in third-person mode.
Third-person mode is very good for us. Likely generating some action here as well as Hellmuth with the second nut flush draw and a gut shot up against Morris, who has
Looked
the
like he
nut
wanted to
diamonds.
raise.
So Morris
It was
just
an option.
calls with the ace of diamonds. Wow, look at this table talk. Hellmuth said, I thought you were going to raise. Morris said it was an option, all honest.
Ace on the turn, Morris feeling a lot better about this, and the action goes check, check. 10 of spades completes the board. This could have been a bloodbath if a diamond had peeled off.
King high? King queen?
Arthur with a pretty tight check back there. We've seen Morris make several tight checks on the river. Earlier he
You
checked
can't
back
get
the
too much off
jacks
now.
on a 2-king board.
1,500.
Oh, yeah.
Seems like he's playing very safe
go for 2 or
in these
3K
river
here.
spots.
I'm not too greedy.
I didn't think you had much before the flop. Maybe I should have just popped it up a little bit there.
I would have folded that hand.
Nothing wrong with calling with king queen.
No.
I get you in.
You get me
lot
with
of
worse
trouble.
kings and worse queens. I have both. I just fold them happily.
You
when
called the flop. I'm like, God damn it, the ace of diamonds. 10 saved me on the river. Otherwise, you might value it a little bit.
Yeah, I get.
Although you know how trappy I am.
Yeah.
I don't.
Also true.
Just tuning in for the very first time.
Now we know.
My name
Now
is
we
Ren
know.
Rinkema.
I'd
Kane
never heard
Callis
about it until
alongside me on the
Well,
commentary.
they should know if they've watched me
This
at
is
all.
our
but I'm
first
always
of
trying.
2 parts of live
trap
streaming
me
day
while I
1C
had
of the main event.
Skinny.
We're going to be here until
I didn't know you had that
7:30 p.m. Pacific
Hard
time
to put you on
I
the skinny.
believe you.
before players
Hard
go
to
on
put you on
dinner
the dirty
break.
diaper there, bro. I'm not gonna
Tell
lie.
on the turn you didn't have anything. You looked disgusted.
This is Mangini's hand. This
You re-raised Phil
3
Hellmuth?
deuce offsuit is just Mangini's
What kind of
favorite
full-
hand.
full
That's what I
third
think it
person
was.
I bet he is
Wow.
friends with Nicholas Rigby. The dirty
That's
diaper
like
is in
the
full
third time
effect.
He's raised me.
Rigby, by the way, playing tomorrow. We're going to hopefully see some more dirty diaper action, which is known as the skinny in Lake Tahoe, I've been told.
Hellmuth
Should
is
just make it 20,000.
holding on to his king 7, but yeah, he has the right read, but he's not going to do it.
Show it.
The diaper.
Ah, the deuce 3.
Deuce 3.
There it
Dirty
is.
diaper.
At least I got one through.
The skinny comes through.
I knew I should have made it.
Mangini really wanted to get Hellmuth with that deuce 3,
Your
and he
senses
did
were
it.
tingling, huh? Your spidey senses were on.
By the way, nobody can tell me that
Dirty diaper.
Mangini is not Australian.
Yeah,
he is
but
the
once
most
the guy starts
Australian-looking
bluffing me, I-
American I've ever seen.
Especially that, I always get them.
Always get them.
Or they put a really bad beat on me.
That's what I'm hoping for.
In fairness, he would have folded for 20. You were right.
Yeah.
No, it'll be like between you and I'll have the kings and you'll have like the ace queen suited and just feel you can't fold. And just put in like 100,000.
Mangini,
totally
one
okay with
of
that.
2 people at this table
And
who
you
are
might have
not
it.
professional poker players.
And I'm okay with it too.
Cervantes is the other one.
Grace.
Mangini is a
Yeah,
businessman.
if he wants to put 100 ball in against me with ace queen, it's okay. It's all I can control these days. It's just like every day my money's in great. It's crazy. It's like the other players don't even try anymore. So he started dancing with me. So right now, where there's a dance in progress between E and I,
Tango.
the guys that dance with me usually get it in.
We got a raise to 1K
Really bad
by
for big
Arthur
blinds.
Morris. A 3-bet by Cullen here. Cullen has been pretty quiet, but he has opened a
Now I
couple
have
of
to
hands in
bluff
early
him.
position, and now Gupta, pocket queens.
I can't blame a guy for playing his name hand. Deuce 3.
Mangini, by the way, quick with the fold, pushing those 10s into the muck. Gupta now out of
85.
position.
825.
8,500 is the 3-bet. Excuse
The
me,
4-bet.
4-bet. Wow, yeah.
Cullen putting on a little Hollywood here. Is he actually thinking about continuing with the 5-6? Just a little Hollywood.
A little Hollywood here before releasing.
Does let it go. And Remko, I think that's all for me tonight.
A deuce 3.
Please let the audience
Little
know
street.
why you're leaving me.
Well, I got to go see Lady Gaga
chairs are
in
nuts at this
concert.
table
Little jazz and piano.
You're not talking about Ren Lin, the actual performer Lady Gaga.
The real life Lady Gaga. And in fact, you know what? Because I'm going to see some jazz, I got a little parting gift for you, my
Oh,
friends.
there it is. I love that.
Under the light.
Kane Callis' own
I
CD.
don't know if I do.
The High Hopes album, I released it last year. It's
Way I sing it,
standards,
it's hard to
Sinatra type stuff, jazz, cover album.
Maybe not
So
the same tone.
check it out online, Remko. It's always a pleasure.
Absolutely, Kane.
And
Thank
I'm
you so
sure you're
much.
going to have fun doing this, even by yourself with these characters at this table.
Yeah,
I
nothing
have
to prove
Arthur
at this
Morris as
point,
my
right?
co-commentator.
Exactly.
I'll be fine.
All right, take care, Remko.
Thank you. All right, I'm gonna need you guys in the
Doubled up
chat
Day one.
for the
Already got one through.
final half hour here of the stream before we go on dinner. Let me know where you're watching from. Smash that like button, all that good stuff. Also, if you're not yet a subscriber to our YouTube channel, you got to do so
Called
right
me
now.
this time, huh?
Excuse me there?
Trapping.
The queens?
I'm very trappy.
Those were not folded. That was an error on the graphics. Hellmuth here, raising it up to 1K with ace-king. Mangini makes the call. Morris in the big blind comes along as well. 10-7-3.
Check.
10-7-3 rainbow. Action gets checked to Mangini, who also checks behind. Ace on the turn. Music to the ears of Phil Hellmuth.
Check. Bet 3,000.
3,000 is the bet.
I was ready for you this time.
I believe you.
You're supposed to make it 4K.
Buddy, I read you like open book.
Oh boy.
Oh, je suis en table télé, les gars, table télé.
Two quick folds here, and Hellmuth takes it down.
Hello, guys.
Welcome.
Hello.
Hello. Careful, I spilled the drink earlier. Sorry.
I'm gonna guess
Mostly
European.
this way.
What gave it away?
Guess what?
Where are you from?
What do you think?
Not USA.
No. France? Sorry.
No, he is. I love that shirt. Let me show. Pull the sweatshirt up a little bit. The shirt though.
The shirt?
Oh my God.
That's a nice looking shirt. No one in the U.S. wears that. It's too stylish for us.
You're gonna roast. It's hot under these lights.
We got Damien
Yeah, France.
Gaillet from France
Yeah,
joining
dude.
us.
Yeah.
Take it
Congrats
easy.
I
on the
thought Europe.
game.
Yeah. You got to give the man that's a nice looking shirt. We give him some credit.
I love how Hellmuth just goes.
Better than the
I
shit
thought
you
Europe, just the continent, the entire continent of Europe.
He got a new shirt. Just
Ellie
for
had to
this
get a
one.
new
Just for
shirt
this
just to
table.
wear.
Hey, I
Come
had
to
to
the
have
feature
PGT.
table.
I had to let him know. I was like, hey.
I appreciate you.
That's different too, right?
Hats Donnie and Donnie Peters and Tim Duckworth's podcast
Were you
for
wearing
PokerGo.
that?
I wasn't. Got to show some love.
Yeah. I didn't know if you changed hats or if you got a hat.
No, I just got a hat. My favorite place to play, so, at least all I can do is give them a little shout out.
Yeah, for sure.
36.
Raise.
Much love to Arthur Morris for repping
Can
the
they find a way
BGT
to
shirts.
cancel me for saying that the guy has a nice shirt? I think they can.
Probably. Fucking these
I
days, who
think
knows?
I don't know. I always joke. They always I say something and I just always joke about, can they cancel me for that? I think they can.
Can I get some change from you, sir?
So as I was trying
Thank
to
you.
say here, the PokerGo
Guy
podcast
underestimated.
is Arthur Morris'
Alabama.
favorite podcast. So you might
Lemon
want to check that out
Blood.
yourself.
Did
Daily
not
shows
underestimate
during
those
the
guys
World
from the
Series Poker
South.
Main Event. Find it on your favorite podcasting app. Kane
I was
Callis
gonna guess France.
just departed. He's going to go see Lady
Never gone to
Gaga.
France.
I'm just waiting here for some
Did you
action
watch the game today?
at the feature
The
table.
extra kick, penalty kicks, or France versus
Portugal.
Portugal?
Portugal, yeah. Was easy.
Yeah, 0-0 and extra kicks. They won on extra kicks.
Yeah.
Maybe PKs, whatever.
Extra
Doesn't sound like
kicks.
you watched it.
Arthur Morris, come on.
Doesn't
Penalty
sound like you watched
kicks.
The match?
Yeah.
Yeah, yeah. This is why it just came.
Oh, you late registered because you were watching it. Okay.
Come straight into the Hellmuth feature table.
Gaillet's first hand here at the feature. Let's it go.
Raise.
Raise 1,000.
All right. See you.
Call. Heads up.
Morris makes it 1K with 9-5 off. Palmer makes the call, and as we saw earlier, Arthur Morris very happy to get involved, playing lots of small pots. King 5-4, 2 hearts on board, and Morris just going to continue and gets a fold again. And you can see sort of a theme here. Arthur Morris continuing to apply the pressure, winning those small pots. He's already up to 110K here in the early goings of day 1C. We've got about 30 minutes left here before we go on dinner break, and then Espen Jorstad.
Out here with Ryan DePaulo. I do believe that you were recently accused of being in robot mode by one of your table mates. Not what we would expect from you day one in the main.
Oh, yeah. He's trying to peer pressure me to start drinking already. To have me relapse. I don't even drink, but I may do it by the end of the night. But he was like, yeah, you're in robot mode. These Euros got you. Meanwhile, we lucked out. There's only 1 euro at the table in reality. It's a good table.
Yeah, sorry apologies to the €1. All due respect, of course. We were talking earlier, what do you think it'll take you to get on a featured table?
Yeah,
here
so
at the main?
I think the formula is like me, like a vlogger type, plus an old school legend like Johnny Chanish, plus a like king queen suited level, like kind of known player like Rob Kuhn type of like
a couple
level.
people know him here and there.
Yeah, like maybe people have heard of them. Yeah. Like
Okay.
that's what I was guessing the formula is.
Well, if you get that table draw, you let us know. I'm going to send you back to the action
Wait, let me
here.
just
so you
tell you
don't
really.
miss
I
it.
just texted D-Negs as if we're like I was like, yo, I'm ordering Uber Eats. You want something? As if he doesn't have 15 fucking personal chefs. And now I'm so uncomfortable. He's like, I got it covered, thanks. And I'm like,
very nice of you
uncomfortable.
to
Yeah, but I feel so uncomfortable now. Like.
Okay, well, now you can go play. Thank you, Ryan. Appreciate it.
Yo, he does not. The curse is not real. It's not real.
It's not real. He says it. Might be real.
Still on the fence on whether the curse is real or not. By the way, let me know in the chat, do you think the curse is real? Jeff Platt interviewed Josh Aryeh on his starting day, and he busted immediately. So I don't know. I'm not sure. I am personally not a believer, but let us know in the chat.
Nobu, yeah. Nobu.
Check.
Back to the feature table here. Cervantes flops a full house. Let's
Hey,
try
Ryan.
to see if he can find a way to
I
make some money here.
I think Gabby and them are going to go to the steakhouse
my room,
at
sweetie?
Binion's. Do you want to join us for dinner break? Or do you have plans for dinner? What you got? Huh?
You gotta dress up?
No, we can slum it. Let me text Gabby and see if he can get 2 more seats.
Always good checking in with Ryan DePaulo out in the field.
I'll take it, sure.
Run to Chipotle or something with you guys instead, because I'd rather, you know. 28 minutes, yeah.
I mean, the break's over in 27 minutes. I'll come right to Noble.
More.
Yeah,
I'm
Warren,
cooking.
if you have trouble getting into Noble, I don't
Cervantes
know.
betting
We gotta
800 with
know
his full
somebody.
house, and somehow Colin deciding this is the moment to attack makes it 2,500. Now Cervantes, of course, has to find a way to come across.
Getting stuff like this sent to me now. That's cool.
Oh,
Word.
They were,
I have a 7-star card.
you have to watch it whenever you
It's in the room. You want to just go get the card?
got here, but
I think so.
they were like, basically
Wow, and look at this. Cervantes comes over the top for 6,600.
Sure, of course.
Colin took a stab here,
Got a
perhaps
French pro on it
Cervantes
right now.
interpreting this as
Vaguely
his
recognized
opponent
him. I can't remember his
being
name.
likely to have a 10, and he wants to charge him as much as possible.
Did Jack stays king for 90 blinds free.
We, of course, can
He
see
has a lot of big blinds to put in.
that
It was
Colin
like
has
open
absolutely
for
nothing
1K,
here.
Call. He squeezed to 8, and then the guy back jammed.
And there it is. Colin lets it go. Cervantes takes down.
The funny thing about that hand is like
A nice
Bill's
one here,
never
but
calling with
would have probably
nines.
preferred
like
to be up against the 10.
Fucking mucking too. I don't even think he 3-bet tens. He just has like ace king combos, mostly suited ones, and he has like bigger pairs.
Reliving the
I mean, he
moment.
has bluffs. He'll have some dog shit, but like.
Oh, yeah, bring me those guitars. Let me tell you, want to run huge bluffs and take down big pots? Unleash your potential with GTO Wizard, the most sophisticated poker solver in the industry. Try it now at gtowizard.com/PokerGo and get free access to all features for the first 24 hours. If you sign up after that, take 10% off.
Yeah,
Go to
please.
gtowizard.com/PokerGo.
He knows the song.
Yes, thank you.
Hellmuth back on the Kung Fu moves, and so far, it's working for him. Up to only almost 100K here early on, day 1C.
I just love it. That was the theme. 21 seconds and then
bust through the door.
Yeah.
Would have been cool.
Everybody was kung fu.
Probably should have had Shannon be the one to break the door though, the way she kicks. Raise.
Raise 1,000.
Morris comes in for the raise to 1,000 after Gaye let it go. Watawan going on the offensive
Everybody was kung fu fighting.
with ace-8 of hearts.
Call. Heads up.
Morris makes the call, heads up to the flop.
In fact, it was a little bit frightening.
8 in the window here for our pre-flop aggressor on 8-6-7 with 2 hearts.
Check. Or anyone else from the Tahoe crew around? Dustin or
Dan's playing tomorrow, Cleveland. Dan O'Brien was down here today.
Action goes check, check, 10 of
Dustin's
hearts
not.
on the
He's
turn.
caddying at Celebrity
Watawan not only has a pair of 8s, also has the nut flush draw.
And then some Reno
Nothing
guys
much
was
out there
here.
for Morris with ace-queen off.
All it was. Have you been down for a while? or-
Morris, despite all that, is going to
I
lead.
just came back. This is my 3rd trip.
Okay.
Yeah. I was at the start and then in the middle and then I'm here for 2 weeks.
Yeah.
Morris bets 4K. Watawan
Because you never know.
next to act here. He's just going to make the call here, keeping all of the bluffs alive. Has hearts as well. River is the deuce of clubs completing the board.
What about you? You been here all summer? Or?
Not the whole thing, but good chunk. Been twice. I went out for a few days. But
Let's see if Morris wants to take a stab here. 15K in the middle.
Play PLO with the Aria at all?
Played a tournament there. I haven't played any cash.
I mean, you just walk in and get a 5-5-10 seat. They got like 7, 8 tables.
Really, the only times I've been there is a huge list.
I've had good luck. I had to wait on the list yesterday, but it wasn't bad.
Yeah. I'm pretty much been in tourney mode. I don't know if those count.
They're pretty good games.
More is deep into the tank here. The longer he thinks, the more I'm leaning towards him tossing a bet out. But he does decide to check. Wadhawan with the check mark. Question is he going to fire? He doesn't. Ace-8 is going to win this one.
They're sticking with this Maria Ho thing.
Let me play this hand.
Just tuning in, please don't forget to like this video on YouTube, subscribe to the channel. Let's see if we can hit 2,000 likes before we hit our dinner break. We got more streaming tonight. We're going to keep Phil Hellmuth on the streaming table. We're also going to check in with other players such as Daniel Negreanu.
That must be
We're going to have a new secondary table that includes Arden Cho, Ben Lamb, and Matt Waxman. So lots of stars at that secondary table as well.
I was afraid it would be super
field.
hot up here. I hasn't been.
I wonder how many chips I have left in that field.
Maybe it helps in running hot too. So.
Yeah, it's fine.
Have a rant
It's fun.
Yeah.
But I've been trying.
I had we were probably an hour into it when I got disconnected, and I think we started with 20, and I had like 28.
The videos
You
are
really
out.
see why I had to steal them from you.
I made one too.
When you were the big blind.
Gupta raising it up with king queen off.
Yeah, I made it from here.
Couldn't fold that hand.
Couldn't fold it out.
Thank you.
Now I will.
Huh?
Now I've done what I had to do.
Wadhawan, 10-9 of clubs. He's going to make the call in position. Great hand to see a flop with. And Hellmuth finds king queen off in the small blind. He's going to come along as well.
I guess we go to the guys or the other.
Tempting Minguini. And Minguini is going to call from the big blind. So we have four-way action here to the flop.
The one with the Baja chicken nacho. Yeah. We'll do it, it, guys. All right. You text me.
Wow, look at this. Jack, 8, 10.
1,200?
Hellmuth and Gupta both with an open-ended straight draw. Wadhawan flops a pair and a straight draw, and Minguini finds a way to catch top pair, and Hellmuth, of all people here, leads out for 1,200, so this hand could get very interesting very fast.
Range, check, turn 10 of hearts, and I led 4K because this board is supposed to be super range advantage for me. This should clear out like all the ace, king, ace, queen.
Meanwhile, Arthur Moore's on the rail doing some analysis as Minguini calls, Gupta comes along. We're now on Wadhawan.
And I have all the 9x, and he has like none of the sets other than 10s exactly, and like basically no two pair and no straight. He checked behind the flop.
All right, four-way to the turn.
I'm going to check in the dark.
But I'm laying
Healer,
2-1 premium. I'm betting like 27,000 to win like 15. It's like,
oh wow.
In the main event,
dark
like,
check for Hellmuth on the turn as the 3 of hearts pops off.
The risk premium of like, I'm playing from ahead right now, and there's a couple guys on my table that have a lot of chips. But
checks as well.
I randomized, so if I would have paid 33%, I would have fucking ripped in his eye. But I have to miss, so lucky him, because I think he folds the ace 8 exactly.
Gupta, our pre-flop raiser, is going to take back the initiative, betting 8,000 on the turn.
Because I'm just not going to have Jack in that spot, but.
Wadhawan letting go of his 10-9. Action back on Hellmuth. Lets it go. Okay. And Minguini folds as well. Where I was perhaps anticipating multi-way action to the river, Gupta takes it down, betting his open-ended straight draw on the turn. 4 to the turn.
Damn it.
None to the river.
I had king, queen.
Same hand.
Oh, you did too? Wow.
Made him fold ace queen.
No, better.
Better?
I folded the best hand, but I couldn't take the heat. I'm scared of you.
Starts pulling out those red chips, I'm gone. I'm gone.
I can't afford that shit.
Yeah.
Raise it.
Raise 1,000.
Palmer, who got the better of Hellmuth earlier, raised it up with ace-4 suited. Cullen to his direct left with ace-queen. We've seen him get aggressive before.
3.
He's going to make it 3,000, not wasting any time. And that's it. The 3-bet gets it done. But yeah, as I was saying earlier, I got interrupted by the action. We have Espen Jorstad, former main event champ, joining us at 9 p.m. Pacific time for our night shift. So if you have any questions for
That song's gonna
the
be
main
stuck
event
in my
champ,
head for a long time.
please return for the action as we
Nice
keep
song.
It's
Hellmuth
got a
on
whistling
the
part.
feature table.
That gets me every time. Be whistling in the shower.
Yeah.
It's very catchy, isn't it?
You heard me over there, huh?
Yeah.
I was trying to do it quietly. I couldn't help. I'm not going to not do it. Impulsive at this
I'm
point.
watching the entrance now.
900.
Raise 900.
Yeah. You're welcome. Oh, you needed all black for the big blind. My bad. Here you go.
It's 900, is that right?
That's correct.
Wadawan has been really active the last few hands here, raising it up with ace-7 of diamonds. Excuse me, 8-7 of diamonds. Cervantes in the big blind comes along. Queen 9, 3, 2 diamonds. King High still in the lead here, but Wadawan has a lot to continue with here.
I do like one Twitter comment. The man wants to have fun and make it fun. People who complain are likely miserable in their own lives and don't celebrate the little things in life. It's a reminder to enjoy life, embrace little things. And the man has 17 bracelets. Haters going to hate. Keep on. ...
That's a
That's
fan
from
right
the
there.
Tesla bus driver, yeah. Well, there's some equally negative ones, believe me.
I believe it.
I'm just looking.
Oops. We'll stick your head off with that thing.
Wadawan continues and gets
One
it
guy
done.
says, what
No
the
further
fuck
action.
was that? Mash _ money line.
Everything you ever imagined.
Oh, I thought you might have been watching. I played the skinny twice.
Hellmuth reading off some tweets about his entrance.
Chris Garcia, he's a great tournament player, but these entrances are basically clown shoes. Johnny T, another great WSOP main entrance.
Please let me know in the chat, how was Hellmuth's entrance this year? If you saw it, it was the start of the show today. He's seemingly interested in everyone's opinion, so please tweet at him or let me know in the chat. Personally, I wasn't impressed. I've seen better ones, Phil. You can do better.
Raise 900.
And Wadawan is going to continue a bit of a rush here before dinner. Hellmuth comes along with ace-jack off. Minkini happy to come along with deuces.
Hold on, I can't talk. 1 second.
We're going to have three-way action going to the flop here.
3 players.
Wow, deuce in the window. 3-3 deuce. The dirty diaper would have also made a full house, but Mangini is going to be just fine.
Against my better judgment, to the
Flopping
man
a
that
full
plays
house.
deuce three.
Deuce is full of threes.
Oh.
Mangini just with the call. Hellmuth betting 1,200.
Heads up.
King hits on the turn as we are heads up. Hellmuth slows down here.
Oh, this doesn't feel fair to me.
3.6.
Doesn't feel fair. The man who plays every hand against me has raised me 3 times. Somehow is this hand beat? Oh, Phil, he's going to give you all the money later. Lay it down. Good bluff, buddy.
Ace Jack into the muck.
Get a Miracle King.
Deuces 4. Let's go over to Jeff Platt. He's got a report for us out in the field.
All right, I'm standing by with our next secondary feature table. You guys are going to like this one, and here is why. In seat 3, we have a guy who plays No Limit Hold'em once a year, but he plays pretty well. He's a 2-time World Series of Poker main event final tableist, and Ben Lamb. Matt Waxman is here. I didn't even see Matt when I came by. He's a bracelet winner. He has a top 100 finish in the main, second place finisher in the PGT Championship. She also just so happens to star in Netflix's Avatar: The Last Airbender, and that would be one Arden Cho. And you've been told not to talk to me?
Oh no, they said don't speak to you.
You're too smart to believe this. So that, again, is our next secondary feature table coming up after the dinner break. I won't touch any of your chips or anything.
Okay, I don't believe it.
Okay, good.
I don't believe
We're
it.
good now.
We're gonna make it.
We're going to make it.
Honey?
Arden Cho, a non-believer of the curse, and there you have it, a little preview of our secondary table coming back after dinner. Jeff
I might
Platt
be able
out
to
in
get
the
a
field
bigger order from my
all
brother.
night for us to collect some good stories.
Raise.
Well, maybe you and Warren should
2.4.
Coming back to the action here, Mangini raising to 1,000 with Queen Jack suited. Cervantes on the button, 3-betting to
maybe
2,400 with
well,
Ace
Martha
King suited.
Stewart. Oh yeah, Martha Stewart. They know me there.
Heads up.
Just tell me you're with Phil, and then you can sit at the counter for Martha Stewart.
Hellmuth making dinner plans as Deuce 4, 4-2 spades
Yeah,
rolls
just
off the
text
deck.
That's 15.
1,500 from Cervantes, and he gets it done.
Mine too.
For the Negreanu fans out there, we're going to keep an eye on him, but the table he is currently seated at is going to be breaking soon, so that would cause a whole bunch of problems for our broadcast.
There's a
because
lot
of
of
course
huge cringe-
we have
huge
to adhere
cringe,
to the breaking order. So no
stock
Negreanu
jockey.
just yet after dinner, but hopefully
thought it would be
if he
better.
gets moved to a new table, we can show him
Congratulations,
later
Chad.
on the show.
Chad GBT on the most awkward entrance.
Anyone with a big microphone actually want to comment on it, or is it just a lot of random people?
He's a man of the people. He wants to know.
The big people that complained about the entrance in December, like a lot of the names, really big names in poker that complained. Daniel and I just destroyed them because they're just a bunch of jealous. Like, I mean, if you're gonna become a great poker player and make millions of dollars, respect the people that got you there.
Paved the way.
So Daniel started attacking, and I was like, yeah, let's raise.
Raise 1,000.
Cervantes raising it up with Ace-5 of diamonds.
It's kind of fun.
Gaillet with queens on the button, taking a little bit of a look around the table. Can only imagine that a 3-bet is imminent here.
December at when?
28.
This thing called the World Series of Poker.
I got it.
Yeah.
That makes sense.
2,800 is the 3-bet.
I like it when the World
Action
Series was in
back on
October that one
Cervantes.
year. It was so nice outside. It wasn't like scorching.
Dude, I had 7 final tables. Bring it back to October. I mean,
Which year was that?
Jeremy's about to.
I think
Jeremy
it was 21.
Jeremy Osmus has 6.
Jeremy's had such an insane. It's so sick.
If he can get 1 more, he ties my record. 2 more, he breaks it.
It's sick that he has 6 and he's drawing pretty close to dead to win POI. Because Seaver has 3 firsts.
No, he's only 300 points behind him. 400 points behind.
Yeah, but I mean, Seaver's
Oh wow! Look at
also
this.
going to play
Cervantes
everything,
reaching
you know.
for more chips.
It's going to be hard to catch.
Applying the pressure on the new guy at the
It's
table.
a good fight, though. I mean, good
I
battle.
love Seaver. He's very. He's like Phil. He's like. I won all those terms because I'm trying my hardest this year.
Cervantes
I'm like,
makes
well,
it
let's see what happens when you try
7,900.
your hardest the
Action
next
back
10
on
years.
Gaillet.
Yeah. As if there's 0 variance. I guess my hardest isn't good enough. Damn.
Gaillet looking back at the
Yeah, I
queens.
think Scott's
doesn't
one of
have
the-
much
one of the
information
great
to go on.
players.
He's absolutely brilliant.
Yep.
Just arrived at the table.
But it's kind of funny that unfortunately you need a few hands. Like in No Limit Hold'em, you can get there. You can get there by dodging bullets.
Hellmuth
But
blocking.
in every other game,
Gaillet is
you need some
stacked there
hands.
for us, but
Yeah.
Even in No
it
Limit
looks
Hold'em,
like
you need
he's making
At
the
some
call
point
here
you
to
Ace
see a
King to beat
flop.
the amateurs, Ace Queen for 40 big blinds or whatever they put in.
Here it is. Ace Deuce 9. That is music to the ears of Cervantes.
Seaver's special because he just good at every
Also has the
single
backdoor diamonds
He
to go
doesn't
along
like,
with it here.
Even in PPC, like he doesn't have like a bad game. I would say Pilo is probably his weakest, and he's still really good at it. You know, he's just a good player.
Good guy too.
Yeah.
But I did laugh when he's like, "Oh yeah." He didn't actually say that after 3 bracelets. He said that after the first one.
That's 5,000.
5,000.
I told him he has to make sure that he plays all the same events as Osmus plays because he might be the only one who can gatekeeper him. You know, he actually was the one who got him in the No Limit Deuce or whatever. It's like if he didn't play, Osmus damn well would have won it probably. And then Osmus had just an incredible summer too, and on all the high rollers like the 100K, the 250K, the
You know how many tournaments I've played over 10K? 1 all summer.
25K 8 max.
No.
Oh no, PPC. You play PPC? Yeah.
Yeah, played the 50. That's it. And that one I shouldn't have played. I was completely exhausted.
It's a great tournament.
I finished 15th Saturday night, and then Sunday played till 4 in the morning to finish 12th online. I was exhausted.
I played 3
I wouldn't, if it wasn't the Players' Championship, I would skip it.
Gaillet deep into the tank here with queens.
Everyone says that's the most fun tournament. I actually
Clearly
haven't played it yet.
concerned, and rightfully
I've
so,
skipped
about
it
the ace that's out there.
4 times. When three of them I won seats into it, but they weren't must plays. And I was having losing summers. I was like, I'll just take the 50K. I have a hard time stomaching putting out 50 for a tournament, even if I think I'm winning. I
And
do
Gaillet
it in the PLO.
lets
but
it go,
otherwise I've
save
never
himself
done
some chips, and Cervantes chips
I
up
always-
nicely
I'm
after a
comfortable in
rough
the
start to the
25,
level.
50
He is bouncing
money.
back very well.
25K PLO, I think, was maybe the tournament of summer. I mean, I don't know. That's super. It's so fun, man.
Arthur
It's
Morris
so
and
sick.
Hellmuth still are best
It's
performers
so fun.
on the stream.
Which one's that?
Both up well over 30K.
Great structure, hour
How many
levels,
were in it?
double entry.
716?
No, the 10K PLO is like 850-ish, 811, something like that. And then the last year, the 25K had 449. This year was like 500. And then the 50K PLO this year was down. It was like 188 from 229. All the other ones were up, but the 50 was down by, I guess, 20%, 15, 20%. But every other
few more
event
hands
across
here
the board
before we
is
go
gone.
on dinner.
Speaking of which, do you think this breaks 10,000 players again?
If you're new to our YouTube channel, please.
Yeah.
I urge
I
you
don't think- yeah,
to
it's interesting
subscribe.
because you
Our
talk about the
goal is to
economy,
hit
right?
600,000 subscribers on YouTube during the main event. We need roughly
And the
10,000
economy
more,
maybe for
so
the average person
please
with
join us. We have
10K.
daily highlights along with the live
economy hasn't
streams.
been great.
True. But it feels like the poker fields have been incredible. Like almost all the fields across the board are up.
Well, it seems like a lot of the wealthy people have done really well the last 3 years.
Yeah.
Just a guess. Just a sense.
There was some speculation that you'll see heavier C, day 1C and 1D.
Well, that's not just speculation. That's for sure.
D is going to be madness. 10-handed poker, cramped, uncomfortable, bajillion people's unusable bathrooms. It sounds just miserable. But huge field.
Not as much as like because they don't have other tournaments running at the same time.
Yeah. That's true. Well, they'll have the.
But what? It'll be 4,000 people on D or something crazy.
Yeah, I mean, historically thinking, I think all 3 of the other fights combined are smaller than D. It's like, it's nuts. How many are in today? Do we know? No, it's not listed. No idea.
900.
Raise 900.
Gupta finds ace king, comes in for the raise. Cervantes with 6s. Cervantes, by the way, still down 21,000 on the level here, but he has chipped up nicely in the last few hands. His VPIP on the stream has been 43%, so Cervantes definitely the most active player at this table.
We're back to Monkey Till.
Yeah, so it was
As a contrast,
which I don't even
Palmer
think is an active product.
has a VPIP of only 9%.
Sponsoring PokerGo for like a
And
year.
look at this.
Are they even a
Gupta
product?
raising an early position, and Cervantes with 6s coming in over the top. This man came to play.
I think it's supposed to be a daily fantasy site, but when it comes out. But I don't even think it's out. They're just like, it's funny to me.
Bob Menery's involved?
I believe so, yeah. Man, so funny. Yeah. His spoofs and like voiceovers are so funny, man. Yeah.
I watched the Nelk Boys and he comes there. There's this YouTube channel, Nelk Boys.
Oh, really?
Bob Menery like makes special appearances.
That was one of the best interviews.
Look at
I've
this,
ever
Gupta
done.
coming back over the top of
His
7,500.
Bob Menery interview.
Pressure
Oh,
now
really?
on Cervantes.
What'd you enter him for?
It's like he's like, hey, just come to my suite. I'm like, okay. Well, we
the
just
Nelk
sit down
Boys?
and he starts recording, and there's other random people popping in and out. Like, it was really great. And he loves poker.
He does love poker. He played the. He was
He said he'll fight in karate combat. He challenged another celebrity.
That's cool.
I wonder
He
if
played the
Cervantes
PGT championship, I
is
think.
going to see a flop here. That'd be
As a
very
dream
ambitious
cheater.
with 6s.
It's like him and Arden.
Okay, break time, boys.
Oh, dinner break, right? 75 minutes.
This is the main event. Complete your current hand. That current hand player is on a 75-minute dinner break.
Wow, and Cervantes makes the call, calling a 4-bet with 6s. This man has a lot of ambition.
Seems like we're not leaving.
Gupta with ace king. Looking for some
You
help
should go
here,
right there and you take
or
a hot
perhaps
doggy. Mike, take
aggression
care.
will get it done.
Enjoy your dinner, friend.
Okay.
Jack 10-9, all overcards here for Cervantes. Gupta.
You were dangerously close to getting
First
the
to
2x
act.
pot from me on Rick.
Gupta deciding to check. Obviously concerned about what Cervantes might have, and the jacks, 9s, and 10s more likely to be in his hand here. We, of course, can all see that he just has a pair of 6s, but a bet here could be fruitful. Action does go check, check. 7 of clubs on the turn. I wonder if Gupta still assigns a very strong hand to Cervantes as he checks again. Very intriguing hand here, but both players, of course, worried the other has a big one here. And it again goes check, check. River is the queen of clubs, and there it is, Broadway for Gupta on the final hand before dinner. Gupta with the unbeatable nuts here.
All in.
And he moves all in on the river.
You river the nuts?
Cervantes with a good read here.
Hated that river just because sometimes you're going to river the nuts.
The nuts indeed for Gupta. And that was our final hand of the first block here. Hellmuth is back on the feature table after dinner. Thank you all so much for watching. Please subscribe to our YouTube channel, turn on post notifications. That way you'll get alerted when we go live next. Thanks so much for tuning in. Taking a dinner break, back at 9 p.m. with Espen Your Stats. See you in a few.